Coming to you live from the basement of an abandoned training facility where we talk about fighting, training, and events. It's the Fight Mixer Show, where you can hear about all the local and world combat sports happenings. Get ready. It's time to gear up and square up because we're going live on the Fight Mixer Show.
Going on, everybody? Welcome to Sunday's Fight Mixer episode. We are here with myself, David Potter, alongside my co-host with the most, four-time world champion and black belt, Mr. Gabe. Gabe, how you doing, brother?
Not bad. What's going down?
What's going on? And we are here with the man of the hour, the legend himself, 15-2, retired fighter, the man, the myth, the legend, Thunder, Jake Hattan. What's going on, brother?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Fuck yeah, man. Oh, my God. We have a great episode. We're going to talk about the past, talk about Jake's career. We're also going to talk about the past UFC that happened last night. Also, this show is also brought to you by – I can't believe you're here, Jake. Thank you so much for taking the time for coming out.
No, again, man, I'm excited. You know, this is twice in a month we get to hang out.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And you and Gabe have history, right?
We have an interesting history, a good one.
I think so. Actually, you know, I even like the way everything panned out for that debacle of San Francisco, but I think it was great. Everything about it was great. Like because we were supposed to fight an event, both of our opponents had pulled out, and I walked up to Jake and was like, "Hey, you want to fight?" Like super respectful, and Jake's like, "Sure, let's fight." And so. You know, and it was like we were talking prior to that, and everything was great. There was not any animosity. There wasn't like egos. It was just like two guys that didn't have opponents that were just gonna, you know what, let's just get in there and do it. And like we didn't know each other at the time, and we both signed the contract, and then the fight fell through. But it's one of those. experiences, like, because usually there's weird animosity with people, like at an event. I've had multiple guys try to build themselves up to like, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do all this stuff. I've had one guy even told me that like I had said really, really bad things about him and his mother, which is not true. But Jake and I were it was respect from the get-go. So different animal.
Yeah, that was for me. That was weird because you meet guys and you meet fighters, and sometimes you kind of bond with them a little bit, click with them. And other guys, you're just like But you and I we were kind of hanging out, like you said, a couple of days before, and I was like, man, that Gabe, he's a pretty fucking cool guy, So yeah, so when we got a chance, I should have known my opponent was going to pull out because it was Crazy Horse, and he didn't even show up to the weigh-ins. He showed up to the press conference and not to the weigh-in. So I should have known prior, But yeah, Gabe come up to me and said, "Hey, you want to do it?" And I was like, "Hey, to save the show, why not?" So that's how.
And there's two guys. If there's two guys that don't like pulling out, it's Jake and Gabe. Am I right?
I have two kids to prove it.
and the funny story is, and you were explaining this to me when we were hanging out, was the fight got canceled because Don Fry. I was so shocked to hear that Don Fry started some shit in the hotel room. Said nobody ever.
It wasn't Don starting shit. What happened was something happened with the athletic commission. I don't know if they didn't have enough money or what happened. So they got all the fighters in that room. Hey, Gabe, was it the Marriott?
It was at the hotel afterwards. And so what it was is the promoter didn't have money, and the California State, I guess there was on the commission up till the day of the fight. No, don't worry, we'll have it in escrow. And then the day of the fight happens, and there was no money. So the athletic commission said, nope. And so the promoter was back at the hotel with about 15 or 16. Well, no, way more than that. But the fighters themselves were very upset because, we all signed contracts. We all were there to make money. That's the reason why we were fighting. And now we were coming out with zeros. And there were a lot of unhappy fighters.
Yeah, so we were all in a room, in a conference room, and he's trying to talk. And Sonny, Dog the Bounty Hunter's son, Leland's, who I wasn't a big fan of during that show, he started talking to Don, and Don's kind of on the fighter side, like, hey, where the fuck is their money? And I was sitting at the bar earlier, just hanging out with Don. Don's about 10 painkillers deep and about 20 shots of tequila. I mean, he's way, right? And so Don and Sonny kind of get into it, and Kane was there, and Bob Cook, and everybody was there. And they end up scrapping out in the hallway, a drunk Don. And there's a video of it on YouTube. I'm trying to hold Don somewhere. Yeah. It was and then later that night, Sonny again, they had the big rotating glass doors, and you just hear this boom. And Sonny had ran up and just flew and sucker punched Don again. And all the wrestlers, everybody took off and started chasing Leland and Sonny, the bodyguard, blocks down the road because they loved Don. And those guys ended up getting in a limo and taking off. But that was the last of that experience that I remember.
You guys both have some fucking crazy stories. Like, I was going through your Facebook. I mean, you got to add some context for me, because obviously we on a Vulcan mind trip, everybody, because there are casual fans that just got on the UFC bandwagon. But you gotta remember that both Gabe and Jake Hattan at one point in time, especially during the beginning days of mixed martial arts when it was rising from the dead, at one point in time, Gabe and Jake were two of the best fighters in the world at some point in time. And like, you guys have like freaking stories for days. Like, you got to add some context for me, Jake. Obviously, I'm an honor to call you a friend, and obviously work together commentating, and it's an honor to call you a friend, and you're an absolute badass in the sport. So you got to add some context for me. Like this picture, for example. Like, when the fuck did you start hanging out with Carmen Electra? Like, can we just add some context to it?
Okay, so I'm a big fan of Carmen Electra. Let's just get the record straight. I had her calendars. I had everything. So moving to Vegas, I moved here in 2006 to work with Zions and kind of become, work with the marketing and help the fighters and kind of become a liaison with the UFC. So I started that way. But after a while that you're here, everybody calls because they want a deal. Hey, I'm coming to Vegas. Everybody that's not your friend all of a sudden is your friend. So that happened. So I started a kind of a luxury VIP company, which we're still kind of toying with now with my real estate company. And that was one of the things that we were working with. I had a small site called MMA Lifestyles and Entertainment, and we're a little ahead of our game, kind of doing the behind the scenes. And my buddy was doing an eBay party with Carmen, so got to meet her. And even at her age, she was still smoking hot.
She was like balls deep in the UFC marketing campaigns, especially when Zuffa just bought. And Gabe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Carmen Electra was a part of, like, you can see still posters that's still up from like 2001, where Carmen Electra is posting with she's posing with Carlos Newton, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, and I believe Randy Couture. And there were Carmen Electra was big into their promotional campaign. Am I correct, Gabe? Am I
100%? Yeah, I mean, you know, when Zuffa finally bought the UFC, their idea was to get, you know, celebrities to kind of endorse what they were doing, and Carmen Electra happened to be one at the time that was was doing a massive campaign.
And also, Jay got to hang out with Coolio. Like, goddamn, that's a fucking throwback, man. Hanging out with one of the best rappers of all time from our childhood. Shit.
The best rappers of all. Was he a famous one? Absolutely. But the best rapper? Come on, David.
From the 90s, come on, man. From the 90s, he's classic. Come on, man.
I know that. I'm not saying he's not classic, but like best rappers is just
big shoes.
I'm going to disagree with that one.
Yeah. No, Coolio was great, and I still hang out with him sometimes. Great guy. True gangster, by the way.
Really?
Like, legit. Like, he grew up, I mean, he's a guy, if the shit hit the fan, you probably want on your side. Maybe not the best at this, but, you know, not scared to get his hands dirty.
And was it your first title, or was it your second title?
That was my first title.
First title. Okay.
Yeah. That one was in Denver, I believe. My first couple of fights were in my hometown, and I think the rest of my fights from then on was all international.
They did a lot of fucking fights in Denver. Like the Nichols Arena in Denver, Colorado was the first UFC one. Like, Gabe, how come they did so many events in fucking Denver?
I don't know. You know way more about that stuff than I do. I think yeah, I'm not sure. I was gonna try to think something up, but
And you posing for this award, was this your Hall of Fame when you got in with Frank Shamrock?
Yeah, that was, I believe, 2006, and it was Trainer of the Year. I had been coaching fighters and just, you know, lead by example, right? Gabe, you know this. You know, you don't tell your fighters to do anything you don't do, and they appreciate that. So everything you telling them, you know, you're in there grinding with them and doing everything. So we had an incredibly successful year. I think we had 7 or 8 championships in that year. Granted, I had some talented guys. I'm not going to take all the credit for it.
Jake, sorry, Gabe.
I was going to say talent is important, but that only gets you so far. You need to have the structure and the ability to push talent in the right direction.
Sure. I agree.
And we don't have much in common, Jake, and I don't have a lot of common in Gabe too, because you guys are both fucking legends and badasses. But the one thing I do have in common with you, Jake, is we both partied with Shoney Carter.
So this was, I think this was Houston, Texas. And when I was with Zions, and I was with the Affliction Boys, and that was a guy named Chad Borakovsky, and he owned
Toe to Toe. Yeah,
good guy, really nice guy.
Chad's a great guy. I saw him maybe 2 years ago. I think he's doing real estate now.
Oh, good.
He dumped a lot of money into Toe to Toe. Really tried to make it into a brand. I know that he quote unquote ripped off some fighters, but he was always Toe to Toe sponsored me for a few events. And they always paid me and never had an issue with them. So,
tell you what, they pay fighters enough money where not many guys should complain. You're
yeah, right. Well, especially like the big names, like they're paying Chuck and some of the other guys a whole lot of money, especially for the time frame.
When Shoney Carter and I both got into the Hall of Honors, and I have a rule about like the legends, like especially the guys like you that paved the way, and you guys were badasses when nobody was watching. You guys were fighting all over the place and fighting all over the world and helping build the sport to what it is today. And part of that elite group that Gabe and I always talk about, and why I was an admirer of Gabe, is a part of that elite group that helped build the sport and were the best fighters in the world where barely anybody was watching and kind of building up the sport. So I have a rule where, you know, if I'm around a legend, I'm buying your drinks, I'm buying everything. I could not keep up with Shoney Carter. Like literally an hour into it, I'm like, Shoney, I can't fucking keep up with you, brother. Like, and I try to talk to him more about his career because the more I talked about his career, the less I would be able to consume alcohol and the less he would order shots. So like, very hard to keep up with Shoney Carter. Just saying.
Shoney parties. I've cornered Shoney. I've partied with Shoney. That man, he goes hard. He goes hard in the paint. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, my bill that night was about $400 before I called it a wrap. Shoney Carter, he can fucking party, and shout out to him.
Especially if someone else is footing the bill.
You probably got off easy at $400.
Yeah.
And Jake, if we went out for drinks, I would have done the same thing for you. You guys are a class all its own. And you got to explain this photo. You met the GOAT, and Gabe and I talked about where you guys they trained together, him and Anderson Silva. But when did you meet Anderson Silva?
He was actually I was handling him. I brought him in as a fighter. He was one of my guys I brought in. Zion's had a bunch of just when I got there, it was a shit show. They had just signed everybody and they were paying just ridiculous amounts, and they just didn't have a fucking clue what was going on. I mean, they set the toe-to-toe setting the bar. I mean, Zion's, through the roof. So I brought Anderson and a couple of really good guys in there and started working with him with awesome. Zion. So he was great. He was fantastic.
And what's going on, Matt? We're seeing a bit for Bare Knuckle Insiders. They have 3 great guests on. I can't wait to see that episode. That's going to be coming up at the top of the hour. And let's go down the list, shall we? Where did you beat the hell out of this poor guy?
So that's Leonard Garcia. So
no way. Really?
Yeah, that's the bad boy. And what happened? This was Ring of Fire. This was so I never had any amateur fights. I went pro right away. But I had a boxing background. So it's not that I didn't really have it put together as much as you like, but that was Ring of Fire in Denver, Sven Bean show. And so it was a 2-man tournament. And Gabe, you'll appreciate this. So, Leonard was the only tough guy, and then it was two scrubs, that they brought in there. So the first guy they bring in there, I think his name was Rick Bowen, and we're listening to him in the back, and my corner, and guy's like, "Yeah, I'm the best street fighter ever. I have like 400 street fights." That's what, Gabe, you know that, right? See, that's what you want to hear as a professional.
Oh, I love when I hear stuff like that. I'm like, yes, thank you, yes, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, God. So
yeah,
I
get a bye in the first round.
Yeah, well, that's really what it is. But I never really had. I mean, my trainers were great, but they weren't really MMA trainers. They were just guys I was training with that had skill sets in different areas. So I didn't know how to warm up for a fight, and especially a 2-man tournament. You go get your first win of the night. You go back, even though it was a minute and a half.
4-man, right?
The 4-man tournament. Yep.
Yeah, you were saying 2-man.
I'm sorry, 4-man.
Yeah,
4-man. Fight twice in one night as well.
Yeah, 2 fights. Got it.
Yep, 2 fights. So you win that first fight, and you're just excited. You come back, and then all of a sudden, that adrenaline dump hit, and all those muscles start to tighten up, and you're like, shit. So then I go out to fight Leonard, the second one, and man, it was a great fight. It was one of the better fights in there. But through man, I had him mounted, beat on him. I was choking him. I had his back. I mean, I just couldn't have done much more. Granted, he did clip me. That guy hits hard. He actually flashed me and sat me down at one time. But I just couldn't put him out. But what happened is they were still allowing, I think this was in 97, they were still allowing smoking in the venue. So yeah. I'm an asthma guy, right? So towards that third round, I just couldn't go anymore, and eventually he caught me. But love Leonard. I'm not taking anything away from him. The guy's a gamer, and we're still friends to this day.
And by the way, educational point, that's why they used to call it smokers, because back in the day with boxing arenas, everything like that, they would allow smoking, and that's why they called it smokers. So more you know. So.
Ugh.
And you hanging out with Chuck Liddell. When did you hang out with Chuck, the Iceman Liddell?
He had a barbecue at his house. So we went over there, hung out with him in San Luis Obispo.
Oh, I'm Jake Hattan. I'm a fucking badass. I hang out with Chuck Liddell on my downtime. No big deal.
Chuck is great. Chuck's an interesting guy. Gabe, you ever hung out with him?
I have, yeah.
Okay, Chuck's one of those guys that he's great, but when he starts drinking, it is a party. And anything goes, anything on the table, anything around, anybody that has anything. He is a fucking maniac.
Yeah, he's
mad love for Chuck, but he is crazy.
He listen, in my 20s, partying with who's his little buddy that he used to party with?
You know?
Huh? No, yeah.
Alfie?
No, huh?
Alfie?
No, the guy fighting WEC, he was a
Oh, yes.
Benuelos.
Yes.
Benuelos, like those two.
Yeah.
You knew if you were going to a party with Chuck and was it Anthony? Is that his name? I can't remember, but it was going to get rough and things were going to get wild, very wild.
And it goes quick.
Yeah.
So thoughts and prayers to this lost soul. What the hell happened here?
So this was one of my first fights, and my original opponent backed out, and this kid stepped in. So, I'm not a kind of guy to showboat, to do anything. I want to get the victory. The last thing you want to do is get clipped, not paying attention, by some lesser name. So one of my early fights, and just wanted to get it over with quick.
Yeah, you're a class act, and you can tell you're a pioneer, because the video that's on YouTube of you knocking out this guy, clean clocked him. You helped him up, and you were congratulating him. You were such a class act, even in victory. You were such a class act. In shades of Gabe. Gabe was the same way. You could just tell that pioneer class of just respect, and we're gonna fight anyway, so I'm not gonna talk shit about you. Class acts, both of you guys.
Well, Gabe, you kind of come from that Eastern background too, right? The very traditional. I do have a traditional, background as well. So we were always taught, to don't celebrate if your opponent's knocked out, unless he's just a terrible human being. But, for the most part, before you celebrate, make sure they're good, show a little class. I think that always helps.
I think having respect for your opponents is imperative. I think it's I know we're going to talk about this later, but I don't know if I'm sure you both watched the Burns versus Chimaev fights last night.
Yeah.
And Chimaev seemed like he was happy to have the fight that he did, and to have someone that kind of elevated him for the moment, right? Like I of course I want to win, right? The idea is I'm going in there. I don't expect to lose, but you need to have respect for the person that's going to be along, that's going in there with you, whether they're a 400-0 street fighter or a legitimate badass that really is, a difficult opponent. Show respect. It's a simple thing.
Absolutely. And you hanging out with Wanderlei Silva. Can we add some context to this one?
This was I was pretty heavily in the fight management business, and I worked with Wanderlei is one of my idols. He was that guy that I emulated. When you watch, those old Pride days, and just his ferocity and shoot a box and the way they trained, and everything about him was kind of innovative in a wild, in a wild way. And I ended up getting to manage him. So that, I believe that was after Keith Jardine fight. Yeah. So we did an after party for $25,000. Nightclub paid for his after party. $25,000. That's insane. Yeah, those days are long gone, but back in the day, we were doing well.
Yeah. That's not a bad payday.
Yeah. Did you ever meet Wanderlei Silva? Because obviously you trained with the shoot box guys and everybody like that.
Yeah. So no, I've never. I mean, I've met him in passing, but I've never sat down and hung out with him or anything like that. I mean, like Jake is bringing up, he's bringing up the Pride days. I'll go even one deeper. The IVC days with the headbutts and the no gloves and the head stomps and are just. I mean, that was when I was just terrified of Wanderlei, and then he went to the same thing in Pride. But you put Wanderlei with headbutts and just pure brutality in its finest.
So Gabe, while me and Jake we were hanging out and catering during lunch, it was me, Scott Lewis, shout out to him, he's best announcer in the game, and also Shannon. So Shannon, Ken, Rich, and we were hanging out, and we were actually talking about Jose Pele and his fights in IBC when he fought Macaco twice.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, throwing the fucking toothpick at him and shit.
And Chuck, I think that was a 30-minute war with the nets on the wall, that IVC. Those were, good call, Gabe. Those were insane.
The IVC, there's another one. I don't know. It might have been an IVF or one of the other ones, but Mark Kerr fought Fabio Gurgel, and held his biceps in the guard, and for 30 minutes headbutted him.
Headbutted the fuck out of him.
Just brutality and all of its. I mean, I love it. I mean, you know, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about going to Japan Video in San Francisco and getting every little international event possible.
Mark Kerr was saucy too. Well, he was. That was one of the scariest humans on the planet when he was.
Plenty of testosterone going through that body.
Hissing out hot oil. Hissing out hot oil, baby. Like, but at one point in time, he was one of the best heavyweights in the world, and then he got beat by Igor Bolchanchin, which was overruled because during the rules meeting. This was all noted in the Smashing Machine, one of the better documentaries on the sport. And then he lost to Kazuki Fujita at the Pride Grand Prix 2000. And the big fight that they were hyping up was going to be Mark Kerr versus Mark Coleman, which was very, very well toted considering that they were both trained together too.
Yeah.
So that would have been crazy. Well, they weren't trained together. They were friends, or because
I mean, the wrestling community is a really, really tight knit community, and I'm sure at some point or another they've spent some mad time together. And I think, especially at that time frame, like the American wrestlers were a little bit more tight knit because, like, it was like there was the Brazilians and the jiu-jitsu guys, and then there was the hardcore American wrestlers, and so there was more of an kinship at that point.
Yeah, I agree. Those were kind of the good old days. I kind of miss that. You had your group. Now everything's so spread out.
And I want you guys to hold that thought because I have a question for both of you guys. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get to this picture and then I'm going to get to my question for both of you guys. But we have another thing in common. We both have hung out with Bas Rutten. Tell me your stories about Bas Rutten.
Love Boss, and there's a lot of stories I can't say, when he was in his, let's just say I partied with some wild guys. I lived in Vegas for 16 years and done some amazing things, but Boss, when he was drinking, he might have made Chuck look like a kid. I mean, Gabe, I'm sure you've heard. So Boss cornered me in, that was my fourth fight, I believe, for Maximum Fighting Championships. And then I went with them and trained with them and stayed friends with them over the years. To me, Boss is one of the most, I think I wouldn't say he's the Bruce Lee of the sport, but he was kind of that first guy I thought that put it all together, just those old Pancrase fights. He started off in those pink shorts, hardly any ground. And then at the end, he was grappling with the best of them. So I always love how he kind of put everything together.
Fuck yeah, man. So here's my question for both you and Gabe, and I think I've asked this to Gabe once. So at one point in time, both of you guys were considered two of the best players in the world, or part of that group. So, and obviously Gabe is a WBC champion, 4-time world champion. Jake, you won titles yourself. Do you guys ever look back and say, man, I was two of the best players in the world at the wrong time? Because one, not ESPN now, now MMA is under the confines of publicly traded companies. Now there's so much money invested, $billion industry. And you guys were at the top of your game at a time where nobody's watching. So the old theory of the tree falling in the forest, does anybody hear it? Do you guys ever wonder, because you guys fought such, and especially if you were a part of the community, and I was a fan, a kid, a part of that community of Sherdog and the IG Underground, and I fucking loved the old days of mixed martial arts where Pride was setting the world on fire. UFC was just on the up and comings. Do you guys ever look back and say, man, I was the best in the world at the wrong time? I wish I was fighting during the time where everybody was watching. Or do you guys take pride that you were part of that community that was helping build the sport to getting to that point? Philosophical question. We'll start with Gabe.
Oh, I was going to start with Jake, but you know what? No, I don't really think about that one way or the other, to be honest. I had the opportunity to do it when I did. I mean, that you're going over almost a time machine question. I'm 44, and look, do I want to be 24 again? I mean, there's a part of me that does, but at the same time, I kind of appreciate the life that I've had, and to have an opportunity to fight when I fought, explain to people that I fought when it was illegal and I could go to jail, and trying to explain the history of it is pretty insane. I never thought I was one of the best guys in the world, even when I was on Full Contact Fighter, best upcoming lightweights, and I was in a Japanese magazine for the same thing. But even with that, I always felt like I could accomplish more and I could do more. And there were so many the insane part is like the guys that I looked up to, like Jens Pulver, Gomi, even BJ Penn, all these guys that like a lot of the new kids don't even know who they are. Well, I mean, they probably know who BJ Penn is, but they know the twilight of who these guys are. You know what I mean? And I always wanted to test myself against like the top tier guys, but whether it was the massive thing that it is now or what it was when I was, that's kind of irrelevant. And I don't really think about that much. I appreciate the time that I had to do it. That's it.
And by the way, before Jake answers, I hung out with BJ Penn at a UFC event, and we talked about his fights with Carlo Uno. I just fucking nerded out for like an hour because we just went balls deep into his career. Like, holy crap.
I'll tell you a funny story about an after party with BJ after that, after the Uno fight.
Fair enough.
But let's hear Jake first.
By the way, well said, Gabe. It's it is cool because it was human cockfighting. It was sorry if you hear a squeak. My dog's got his little he's got his little toy. He sleeps all day, and all of a sudden you do a podcast and he goes crazy. So I agree with Gabe. It was cool being a part of that, and I remember friends and family. They're like, "What are you doing? This is human cockfighting." I had one fight in a conduit cage, a conduit octagon. I mean, it was just insane, Western Stock Show complex warming up with hay around. There wasn't these nice locker rooms. Gabe, you get this. There wasn't all these the PI, the UFC Performance Institute is right down the road. Good Lord. Seeing all the things that these guys have. I grew up in carpet, grappling on carpet with, wood walls in a garage. No heat, no air. I mean, that's the way we did it. Now these guys have, all these luxury things, but yeah, and I'm with Gabe. I never considered myself the best ever. I did have a chance to fight. They offered me to fight BJ Penn. He fought a Russian kid. It was a short notice fight. But back then, if you fight in the UFC now, if you take a short notice fight, they'll give you another fight. Back in the day, they didn't. Nope. So I turned it down. But, I would have loved to have had that fight, like Gabe said, to fight some of the best in the world. But you just, if you lost back, and there wasn't fights every week like there is now, so it took longer to pad your record. So if you lost, you're right back down, and there's a time constraint. I mean, it was a mess, but it was cool being a part of it in that time. But I do, unlike you, Gabe, I do think about that every once in a while. I'm like, God, these guys are making so much money, but it wouldn't be the same.
Well, but it's a different. Everything about it's different, right? Like, and now, admittedly, but I also feel like people are doing it for a different reason than when we did it. Right?
Yeah,
people are doing it because of the fame factor of it, because it's on TV, because they feel like that's an ability to then segue into quote unquote fame, which was never. I mean, there was no reason for that. Or if that was your being famous in front of 20 people, that was the extent of it. You know what I mean? At that time frame. It's obviously would I like to make more money? 100%. But I also feel that if I would have been smarter about my finances instead of just being a dumb kid training and focusing on partying and doing this, I would have done better financially as well.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and it is cool to be say that you were a part of it. And Jesus Christ, I remember the first time I got paid $50 and I got paid to kickbox in Utah. They paid for my flight and they gave me $50. I was fucking ecstatic. I was like, You're paying me to fight? I mean, because you grew up for years with boxing and wrestling. You never get paid for any of that stuff. It was, like Gabe said, it was all because you loved it. So, yeah, the first time I started getting paid, I was just like, holy cow. Yeah, $50, and I was stoked.
Yeah, it's going back to that. I remember my first jiu-jitsu tournament. There's a purple belt from my gym, and he was sponsored by Tap Out way back in the day, like when they sold it out of a truck. And all of us were so blown away. Like, he gets free T-shirts,
right?
He gets free patches. Like, we were like, that's the coolest thing ever. Like T-shirts and patches. Like I was like, if I could ever get to that level, I'm going to be over the moon excited. And I not only did I surpass that, I surpassed that by a trillion. But I remember like getting paid $750 for this underground fight. And I'm like, I got paid $750 cash. Like for me, that was so much money because at that point I had fought for WC and Gladiator Challenge, and they would give you maybe a couple $100. Like I almost had $1,000, and that was an insane amount of money. And then when I signed my when I won the WC title, I actually signed a contract, and my first fight in the contract was $1,500 and $1,500, and I'm like, I'm getting $3,000. Oh my God. It was like more money than I ever even knew existed. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And on the bright side, Gabe, we look at it, you got to hang out with fucking Carmen Electra. I mean, explain, and even on the amateur level, because right when I got out of high school, I'm like, I want to do what those guys are doing. So even on the AMI level, like you guys kind of paved the way for and we gotta go back to 2006, 2007, 2008. Like I want to do what you guys are doing. I was a big tape trader. I told Jake about this and Gabe, big tape trader. I'm like, I can't wait to do what they did. I'm gonna fight for pride. Wrong, that's not gonna happen. But I was all explain to even the female folk. And they're like, oh my God, you do cage fighting? It was people couldn't wrap their head around it. And the Ultimate Fighter was a nice Trojan horse to get people to educate people about the sport. And they wrapped it up in a reality TV show, Bo. And they said, but explain it to people. And the women folk was like, oh my God, it's so barbaric.
The Ultimate Fighter didn't exist when I started. That was not that was a pipe dream. To be on any type of TV at that point was 2002 is the dark era of MMA. You know, I mean, there was no Ultimate Fighter. There was no there was the UFC had been bought by Zuffa, but I think they had the debacle with when Tito was supposed to fight Vitor. That was supposed to be their first pay-per-view, and then Vitor got injured, and then they bring Vlad in. And and then so the whole time they're trying to no, trust me, this is a good sport, I promise you, trying to build it and trying to get it. I think they even had a couple of the was it Fox Sports?
Fox Sports, best damn show, sports show, period. Tito fought Vitor Belfort. Chuck Liddell won by decision. Tito Ortiz hopped the fence. Said, I guess we're gonna be next, but I gotta fight Ken Shamrock, and they started hyping that. Tito Ortiz, of course, said that we got to fight for more money, and he was very that was the start of people saying that Tito was a bitch. Was that point because he called out
not too far from the truth. I mean, look, at that point in particular, Tito knew that Chuck got the better of him and would have got the better of him, and so he had no interest in taking that fight whatsoever. My personal feeling is I would have said, you know what, yeah, in the room he might have got me, but let's see what happens. We saw what happened under the lights, but different animals.
So let's talk about the fights from. First off, I'm waiting for Matt to get here because I want to order a pizza for you guys using his great phone service. But Matt right now is hungry. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit hungry. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna order a pizza anyway. You guys hungry?
Sounds good.
I'm a fat kid. I was hungry.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's
order.
That's
the wrong question.
Brought to you by our good folks at TJ Phone and T-Max Phone Systems. We're going to give a call to Domino's Pizza. You guys hungry? What do you guys want?
Jake?
Pepperoni, black olive.
Ooh,
pepperoni, black olive.
Solid. You know what? I'm going to go just because I know everyone has an aversion to it. I want to go pepperoni, pineapple.
Special is 2 large topping
okay,
pizzas.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because obviously we got to talk about the fight, so why not order some food?
We're going to eat. Yeah, I mean, might as well order some food. And
we got to talk about people saying that Kamaza is overrated, which is absolute bullshit. Now that
well, I would like to talk about that, actually. So, I mean, over some delicious pizza that hopefully Matt's paying for.
Matt's going to be paying for this because he's late.
I feel far better if Matt's paying for it.
Yeah, we got to. He's definitely going to be paying for it.
Thank you for choosing Domino's. Tim speaking. How may I help you?
Hey, Tammy, how you doing there, sweetheart? Listen there, sugar tits. This is what we need, okay? We need a large pizza with 9mm bullets, okay? We also need a 12-piece chicken nugget shaped as dinosaurs, Flintstone vitamins, and a 2-liter bottle of gabagool.
We don't serve that here, sir.
We need 2-liter bottle of gabagool. Do you serve that?
I'm sorry.
2 liter.
Have a good night, Dom.
Okay, good night, Tammy. All right, so we're not going to get pizza.
I guess no pizza. Oh, well, good attempt. We made an attempt at it.
T-Max
Great
actually
service.
works. That phone system actually
Service seems to work,
works.
though.
Yeah, it works. The phone system works great. I can't wait to tell Matt about it. But nevertheless, all right, so you guys, UFC, obviously a lot happened. Starling looked like a freaking stud. The controversy is that apparently Peter Yang, Dana White actually said that Peter Yang probably won that fight 3 rounds to 2. I had it 3 rounds to 2 for Starling. What do you guys think about that fight?
Gabe, I think you and I are on the same page. That fight, I thought Jan won, but 2 out of 14 takedowns, and that first takedown he slipped. I get what he was trying to do, and Starling took advantage and got that mount. I get it the first time. The second time was just a rookie mistake, and he got his he got the back advantage and got that. That was really the story of the fight, but you could see Peter. I'd like to see that fight again. And I don't think Starling's the best fighter. I just don't.
Well, look what we have here. Finally, the owner of Fight Mixer has finally arrived. How you doing, Matt?
As soon as we order pizza on his card, he decides to show up.
Matt, by the way, I used your outstanding T-Max phone service to call Domino's, and they hung up on me. Is your phone service not working?
My phone service works great.
Yeah, it was just the pizza order that was the real error there.
So I ordered using your fantastic phone service. I ordered a 2-liter bottle of Gabagoo, and the lady hung up on me.
As she should have, and it was a guy, but whatever, same.
Oh, it was a guy.
I think it was a guy.
Oh, Tim's. Okay. Never mind.
I don't know. But going off what Jake said, I actually thought Yen won. Now it was the thing is it was a split decision, and I think justifiably so. Because any person could have, two rounds to 2 rounds. The only round that would be in contention would be the first round. I felt that Yan was controlling it a bit more, landing the heavier strikes. He seemed more composed and pressed. Now, the 2 rounds that Starling won, he had back control the whole time, but didn't do much with it. Like Yan had great defense. Yeah. But now getting the position, don't get me wrong, and having that control for 3 minutes and then 3 minutes and 45 seconds is exceptional. But he struck a little bit. And I thought Yan actually outstruck him from his back. He was throwing those little punches back like that. Yeah. And so, in my opinion, he was actually doing more damage. There's a few times that Starling did some ground and pound, but I thought if he would have started doing that more, it would have garnered more points. And the thing is. We're going 2-2 and there's 1 round in contention. I don't think a split decision is a bad thing, or you could have called it a draw. I think they should do it again, though.
I agree.
Hey, what's going on, Howie? How you doing, brother? We love you.
What's up, Howie?
And I think the same thing too. Let's just run it back. 2 controversial fights. Let's run it back. Let's get a third out there. Matt, did you see the fights last night? The main event?
Matt doesn't care.
Matt does not care. Matt, what were you doing the entire night? What's going on? 30 minutes late to your own show? What?
Got things working, man. Got things working.
Pathetic.
Unbelievable, sir. Unbelievable. Yeah, and also Kamazat. The word around the water cooler is Kamazat overrated. But at the same token, I believe that he fought a great opponent, Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns obviously came ready. He had a game plan. He floored him, and he went down to 1 knee. And Kamazat, I always thought he was a world beater, and that was kind of a mind-blowing revelation that he's, there's no more world beaters after Anderson Silva in the sport of mixed martial arts. So kind of bursted my bubble a little bit. But what do you guys think about the Kamazat Gilbert Burns fight?
So one, Burns fought exceptional, right? And the thing is, people don't give Burns enough credit. When the people were saying that Kamazat was going to walk right through him, it's he's number 2 for a reason. He's a bad man, really. And a friend and I, we were both betting on it. I said, I'm going to go with Kamazat, but if Burns won, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I will tell you this. The fight, in my opinion, it showed that Kamazat is not this world beater and that he is susceptible and he can lose. And I thought Usman, if anything, was watching that fight going that's what I wanted to see. That was there's chinks in the armor. But it was a just decision. But also, like, I liked Kamazat was like so thankful for Burns. Like, look, you made me step up. You made me fight hard. I want that. I want to go against guys that are going to make me fight. Thank you. And I thought I had a few friends that were saying that, oh, Burns won. I thought 2-1 was a perfect. The way that the scores had it was how I saw it watching it. What do you think, Jake?
I agree. I definitely agree with you. And anybody that says he's not a world beater, come on. There's levels to this game, and we know that. He's fought 4 times, and it's been incredibly impressive. But when you get into that top 5, man, that's a murderer's row of guys. I mean, Jesus. I mean, anybody could give you a run. So I think if anything, in my recap that I did, I kind of stated on there that I think he will be champion someday, but he's got some work to do. But having these 3 rounds under his belt at this level is priceless. But he still found a way to win. He got rocked. He came back. He showed a lot. Yeah.
The number 2 guy. Number 2.
Number 2.
I mean? Like, I think all the talk that bothered me the most is that people were kind of downplaying Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is a gangster, man.
He's a stud, and Gilbert Burns has found his knockout power with one of the best jiu-jitsu games on the planet, and his wrestling has gotten so much better. And he damn near got Hazmat down that one time. You could see the size difference. But yeah, I mean, anybody that takes anything away from Burns, shame on you, because man, that guy's a stud. But I think Chimaev will be champion someday. But yeah, Usman, if that was Usman, that's not a fight that you want quite yet.
Riddle me this, though. How does he do against Kobe Covington? Especially because Kobe Covington's wrestling is superb. How does he do against him?
My personal feeling is it's a different animal. Colby doesn't have knockout power, and he's shown it time and time again. He doesn't. He lands shots, but he never lands anything with power. And I think that's what you need to get Kamazat's respect. If you can't tax him up, you can't put power on him, he's going to walk through you. And we saw how his wrestling defense, even though Burns almost took him down, almost does not count. Like, and he had a beautiful like Darce right off of that one shot that he did. And so he's focused on his counter wrestling. I think it's just a different matchup, and I think he would do really good against Colby. And also, I think the Burns fight is going to elevate him. I think that's the type of fight for a guy like that. It's going to be like, okay. I was a little big for my britches. I was talking too much, but now I need to elevate myself to make sure that my talk is alongside with what I'm saying.
Very true.
Yeah,
Very true.
I agree. And I'm going to go back to what you said earlier also, just how thankful he was. He didn't, and he's like, he was talking in the press conferences like, yeah, Burns' kids come up to me and said, hey, you're fighting my dad. And he's like, fuck, I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to, you want to fight another killer. So it was pretty cool how he talked a lot of schmack in the beginning, but then afterwards he's like, hey, look, mad respect. So a lot of respect for him. Look forward to seeing him fight again. And yeah, I think that experience is everything for him. But Colby, I think, those fights were pretty well, the last fight was pretty close with Usman. But yeah, he is missing that knockout power a little bit. And I think, that's probably a pretty good fight for Hazmat. I agree. Because they match up very well together. And Hazmat's fucking huge.
I was surprised too, and I bet on my predictions. I bet on McKenzie, but McKenzie actually being Tisha Torres. I did not, even though I bet on McKenzie, I thought McKenzie had enough stuff to get the job done. But wow, that fight was like how he got past Tisha Torres, how she got past her. Wow, that was surprising. That
fight made me a little bit nervous because she was a little bit, and I know you saw this game. She was a little bit Ronda Rousey grabby versus striking a lot, and that's. You got to learn to move with your punches, and she's done a great job and gone very far for how young she is, and she'll get better. But that just kind of showed me that you go against a Joanna or a Rose or it's a tough day at the office. I think she needs a few more fights, but impressive. And I didn't like this Tisha Torres matchup. I'm surprised she got by her, but props to her.
Yeah,
when the decision was going to be called. it could have gone either way. And I thought Tisha Torres had some really exceptional moments, like really just like I think that it was the second round she had her in all the submissions.
Yeah.
So, but like the first and the third round where like Tisha Torres had some good moments where like it could have gone either way. Like Jake had said, I think Mackenzie needs to learn how to put her striking and her grappling together. I think when she does that, she'll be much more of a threat. But one thing I actually like about her is like she doesn't care about going to her back. Like she basically jumped guard from the standing position for that Kimura, which I wouldn't do in a million years. But I mean, it's about getting them to the ground, and that was her skill set. And she transitioned from submission to submission to submission. So I give her credit for that.
Fuck yeah. And so somebody actually asked a question. Matt, by the way, what's your thoughts about this previous UFC card?
This guy.
He did not want. Did not do this fucking show. Unbelievable, Matt. You're killing me, Smalls. Matt is actually the owner. By the way, Jake, Matt is actually the owner of Fight Mixer. He actually does the bare knuckle management. Big into bare knuckle. I mean, very big into the game.
I guarantee if you asked him about one of his fighters, he'd have all the answers.
I don't want anybody but my fighters. Oh.
I'm the good manager. I only care about what they're doing. Just so you know, so-and-so had this for dinner last night.
Jake, when you're managing, and you gotta give him some pointers from the pro himself. Jake, when you're managing Vanderlei Silva, did you say, "Well, I'm managing Vanderlei Silva now. All I gotta do is watch Vanderlei Silva fights forever"?
It's actually funny. So I went to his house and met with him and his wife, and just basically told him, "Hey, look, I need you to do two things for me, and I'll handle the rest." He said, "What's that?" And I said, "I need you to train. I need you to win. I'll do the rest." And he loved that. But yeah, it was his wife made most of the decisions, so that was a pretty easy one. He just
I would have told Vanderlei Silva, "Listen, man, I'll give you three things. Okay, one, you gotta train, you gotta fight and win, but except against Sakuraba. You gotta throw that fight. I'm a big Sakuraba fan, so throw that fight. You gotta throw that fight over and over and over again. We gotta make my boy look good." Did you tell him that?
I should have, because I'm a big soccer fan.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I almost got myself killed wearing a Sakuraba shirt at the Half Gracie Academy because after when Sakuraba broke Henzo's elbow, I came in with a Sakuraba shirt maybe 3 weeks afterwards, and Half was about to just to take my carcass and throw it in the back alley. But
how was Half to be? I never met him, but he seems like he's an intense dude everywhere.
He is intense is the proper description. Very, very intense. He's very, very intense.
So final question. So if you guys fought that one card that Don Fry, of course, and Dog the Bounty Hunter's bullshit son was there and everything like that. So the question for the veterans, if you guys fought back in the day when against Gabe was 4-time world champion, Jake was lighting the world on fire. If you guys fought that one card, who would have won? First, Gabe.
The fans.
Great answer.
Great answer, Jake. And you're probably.
I agree with Gabe. Gabe. All kidding aside, man, that was I fought some big names, but I was really excited to test my skills against Gabe. Because I've been watching him, following his career. So those are one of those guys. You're going to get better, win or lose. So I was, nervous but excited. I'm always nervous to fight.
Yeah, I looked Jake up and saw that he was undefeated at that point. I'm like, this is going to be a test, man. Like people don't go undefeated in this sport. And so for me, it was like, okay. And it was this, I don't even remember who my opponent was. You remember yours was Crazy Horse. I don't even remember who my opponent was, but I remember that you were a massive step up, and I was like, okay, let's, it's going to be good no matter what, because, I have to step up my game and I need to fight hard. And the other part is like, there was no animosity, it was like, I'm going in there to do business, and so, but yeah, I listen, the fans would have enjoyed it because it would have been a rough go to say that.
Awesome. And you guys are, and obviously before you wrap up the show, like a Christmas present, Jake, you're, and just like Gabe, I'm honored to call you a friend, and I'm honored to, learn about your history. And of course, you're a part of that unique group, that elite group that helped build the sport to what it is today. Jake, where can we find you? What are you doing? Obviously, we're going to be commentating again on Heart Legacy Wrestling, which was an honor to call the matches with you. You're the fucking man. So where can we find you? What are you up to? What projects are you doing right now?
You can find me on Instagram, at Jake Hattan. And, I've been dealing with athletes, artists, entertainers, a more affluent clientele for quite some time now. And, kind of built a trusted source. I had a concierge company before, and we're launching a new company called Exclusive Vegas. And it's basically heavily real estate based, but it's a membership and a kind of a trusted community for all those guys to come in. So you'll be hearing about that a little bit more.
Yeah. And you also got to be close with Carmel. Let's all just, bro, can we just all, guys, if you're watching at home, I want you to put your fist to the screen and fist bump to Jake Hattan, the fucking legend himself.
Now, hey, I'm not kidding you. That was a happy moment for me. I don't get excited to meet many.
I'll tell you this.
Favorite girls growing up.
I am right there with you. Honestly, I hate to say it, because I'm old, but she was the it girl for me. If there's one girl that I could say that genuinely, some people were, talked about other people. I was like, oh no, Carmen Electra for me was the standard for hotness in my 20s. Couldn't get any better.
Now we're old and the it girls are our wives. How the world has changed.
Exactly. Now I'm married by it girl.
All right, boys and girls, all my hosts and bros in different area codes. Jake, thank you so much for coming on. Gabe, as always, an honor and a pleasure. You are the man. Gabe, by the way, where can we find you? And also talk about Kaiju MMA and Fitness, the greatest gym of all time.
Well, I wouldn't say the greatest, but at least top 5. Kaiju MMA and Fitness in beautiful Tarzana, California. You can find us on the Instagram at Kaiju MMA. Oh, look at that. There's even the website. I am there 6 to 7 days a week, bringing out the next jiu-jitsu and potential MMA fighters. Good to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome, guys. So we're going to drop Gabe and Jake off. Gabe, an honor to call you a friend and a co-host. Jake, honor to call you a friend and the special guest for this evening to talk about your awesome career. You're a legend, a pioneer. Look up all of his fights on YouTube. You were one of the best in the world when the world wasn't watching, and you helped build the sport to what it is today. You are the absolute man, and it's an honor to call you a friend. And also, we're going to be commentating on Heart Legacy Wrestling coming soon. So, Jake, thank you very much for your time, brother.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, guys. Take care.
You're the man. All right, we're going to bring on the host with the most. Matt's late to the party, tardy to the party. But let's bring on the host of one of the best bare knuckle shows in history, Matthew Britton, and our new host, Janine. What's going on, Miss Stella?
What's up, everybody? So, first of all, listen, those guys, I could sit and listen to some stories from guys like you for hours upon end, and it's always entertaining. And Jake is an absolute legend. Of course, Gabe is Gabe, and just those guys that were there at the beginning of when all this really started. Because listen, if they didn't do what they did when they did it, then the sport of bare knuckle, and that's what we like to talk about. But this sport wouldn't exist without those guys.
Absolutely.
Period. Right. So, hi, Britton.
Hi.
What's going on,
I'm just listening to you talk as always.
Listen,
Awesome.
I'm sorry, but I mean, if y'all watch this program, you're going to do a lot of listening to me spout my stuff. So, Janine.
Hey.
Welcome,
Hey,
Janine.
Welcome,
Stella,
Janine.
to the Fight
Everybody,
Mixer
welcome,
family.
Janine. Welcome. The Fight Mixer family.
Yeah. Listen,
How do you recruit this so up?
I'm so excited to have Janine as part of our team, and
Me too.
listen, we're gonna have so much fun with this. We really are.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you guys don't know Janine, of course she's got some history in this world of combat sports, and you've been doing this for a while, correct?
Correct. Since 2020, I started working with Titan FC. It's been a wild ride, and then from there, I got involved with BYB, and I just fell in love with the sport. But interesting enough, and my cat likes to go in front of the camera all the time. By the way, his asshole likes to be in front of the camera. He's a showman. I don't know what it is, but anyway.
If you got it, flaunt it, right?
Totally,
if you got
right?
It,
my best friend just texted me and was like, "How awesome is it that her cat is even on?" And I was like, "I know."
Yeah, my cat is just, he's 20 pounds. He's bigger than my dog. But anyway, so yeah, I literally did not watch this sport or anything to do with combat sports about 3 years ago. And my buddy Justin was like, "You've just got to come to a fight."
And we love Justin.
Fight. Yeah, I love Justin.
Yes.
And I'm like, and he is just a world of knowledge, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, all right, I will go to one fight. And of course, it's that one fight that just makes you hooked. And then from then on, here I am. It's the most unlikely individual you ever thought. My friends were like, "You're watching what? You're going where? With who?" And it's just another world, which I love. So I'm blessed.
It really is. And so you and I met at the BYB event. We worked that event. We worked media at that event together. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely fell in love with you and your husband, and I had so much fun with you guys. And I wish
the feeling's mutual. We fell in love. It was love at first.
I can't do a heart. There's a better. There we go. That's better. But I wish we would have. Yes, there you go. We would have been. I wish we would have worked together all along. But things happen, and the world turns, and as the world turns is a soap opera, which is maybe similar to some of the situations that we've all experienced in this world, which is kind of this world. It's
Pretty
kind
much.
of a soap opera, people. Right.
Without question. So I don't mean to cut you off, but we're going to have a brief word from our sponsors, and I can't wait to hear it from the new host, Skulls and Stilettos and Skulls, either way around. But that's going to debut next week, and I can't wait for that episode. We want to thank everybody for joining us for Fight Mixer tonight. You guys are going to be in for a real treat, one of the best bare knuckle shows, and we're going to have 3 guests on, 2 current world champions, sorry about that, and one of the baddest ladies on the planet of bare knuckle. Matthew, Britton, Janine, take it away, and we're going to have a brief word from our sponsors, and we're going to go to Bare Knuckle Insiders. Peace. Police. Sorry about that. Hold on one second.
Hey, yo. Pound, round for round, still claiming champion. Yeah. Pound for pound, round for round, still claiming champion. Yeah. Pound for pound, round for round, still claiming champion. Yeah. Still claiming champion. Yeah. Still claiming champion. Pound for pound. pound, still claiming champion. Pound for pound, still claiming champion. Yeah. Still claiming champion. Undisputed.
Welcome back, everybody. So here we are. We are the Bare Knuckle Insiders, and so are you, because that's the whole point of this show. Is we are with people with inside knowledge. We're people with the inside information, but we want to share that information with you. And there he is. Our first guest of the evening is the champ, the welterweight champion of the world, BKFC welterweight champ, and Police Gazette welterweight champ, Elvin Brito. How are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm the champ that everybody can beat, but then they have problem beating me.
So, listen. So I want to. I've got so many questions for you, man. I really do. But I guess my first thing is, and we're going to bring on our other guests too. So as they're in the green room, go, David. Just go ahead and bring them on. But we are going to be joined because I want to kind of do like this panel thing. Which is not normal in this. Normally you have one guest and like we give you all the attention and stuff like that. And listen, not that you're worthy of all the attention in the world, Evan, and we know that.
Good thing, man. I'm just here. Let's talk about fighting, man.
Let's talk about it. And we talk about fighting and the fights and all those things, but we also want to talk about like your experience. And I think that's a big part of what we want to do here. Hey, Scott Farley, how's it going, Scott? Scott's a friend of the show. And hey, thanks for watching, man.
Yeah.
But we want to talk about not just the traditional aspects, everything that everybody else talks about on every other show. We want to talk about, the behind the scenes, like what's it been like for you?
Man, shoot.
So, okay, here's my first question on that line. Yeah. So what's life been like for you, man? Since winning those beautiful belts that you're donning at the moment.
It's the same. It's the same for me. I was ready to be a champion. Like I was ready to get the belt. So it really didn't mean anything for me. And I had been saying it for a while that the belts aren't for me. Like I'm a champ. The belts are. So now you got to say I'm the champ now.
Look, I think
you have to say it for a while too.
A lot of people, all the insiders have known for a minute that you were going to be who you are.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, man, it's been fun to watch you.
To me, like I was prepared. Like my trajectory pretty much led up to it, and I had my learning curve in bare knuckle, and my decision whether I wanted to go through with this all the way or not. And, now we're all in it. So I'm really looking forward to more fights in the future. Like I'm ready to fight June 24th. I should be fighting again, and I'm ready. I'm ready for the future. I'm ready for more fights, ready for more wins. And
I can't wait to watch you.
Challenge me.
I'm ready to watch you do it. I'm ready to watch you.
Working harder and harder. I haven't stopped working. I got back home, and as soon as I got home, I've been working. I haven't stopped working since I got home, and now we're running Lorenzo's training camp. And as soon as I finish with him, then it's all me now. And so I'll be ready to fight. I'm pretty much ready to fight almost all the time. So I'm ready. I came out clean out of my last fight like I normally do. So I feel a lot and everything, but I didn't get hurt. So
I mean, that's a thing though. Like
ready.
How many people can walk out of a bare knuckle fight like looking virtually the same as they did when they walked in?
Yeah,
it's rare.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you could say I've been lucky, but it's 7 fights now, and I've been doing a really great job. It's a certain level of skill and understanding, and a lot of it comes with understanding that bare knuckle is a kind of a beast of its own and its own martial art. And the guys that are really good at it, that's really what they have. That's the edge that they have over a lot of people. They understand that it's different,
Absolutely. Well, we got Mr.
I have
Producer
for you, Elvin. How's it feel to be one of the baddest motherfuckers on planet Earth?
for real.
Hey, that's what I do, man. Like, I'm really good at whooping ass. I put the beating on people, and I'm good at it. I get paid for it. It's something I'm a nice guy, so like it's something I kind of had to make peace with for a while. Like, hey, this is the path that I got put in life, and so. But I love doing it. I love fighting for my people. I love fighting for a cause, and I love fighting for a reason, like, and for a future, and for something for all these plans that we have, and not just for me, for like our whole community that keeps getting bigger and bigger, and all our friends and the fighters and everybody. And it's been a trip, man. It's been awesome. It's been an awesome journey, and like I said, I can't wait. I can't wait to keep fighting. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Dude, I mean, but seriously though, and that's one of the weird things. I think, like, and ladies chime in. Sorry, I always do opposite.
We're trying to.
It is opposite. But all right, I'll shut up. You go ahead.
It's fine. I just have like one random. Do you sleep with those belts? Because if I had the belts, I would sleep with the belts.
No, I don't. I love to bust them out. Like, I wanted to bust them out for you guys because, you know,
you have
I know you guys love the wrestling stuff, and it's part of it. And
hell yeah,
I like to show off.
Kind of sexy.
We don't show off just for like we get to show off from all the hard work that we do. Like, this is not. They're not handing these out. They don't hand these out.
No. Right.
And you guys know how hard I worked to get my belt. That my belt wasn't given to me. I didn't get a gimme for my belt. Like, a lot of guys just got kind of a gimme. Got their belt. I had to bust my ass for mine. So we like to show it off and let them know what I'm the champ. You know, and I love fighting because I get to show them every time why I'm the champ.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not just talk. Yeah.
I personally would even wear them like to Walmart if I had them. I would wear them everywhere.
It's funny because I don't have like a shrine to myself where I got all my stuff that I've won. I've had a whole bunch of trophies. I've been fighting since I was young. I just kind of got all my stuff sitting around, and a lot of my stuff I got in my car because I got a lot of fans everywhere. People see me, they recognize me. They're like, "Oh, Elvin." I'm like, "Hey, man, you want to take pictures with the belts?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah." So I bust out the belts for people and the medals and everything. It's just the belt, you know. Like I said, it's for the people, man. Like the fighting and all the stuff that comes out of it is for me and my community. But like the belts and all the accolades and all the, you know, all that stuff, it's just for our friends and our fans, and hey, we all get to show out. You know, it's pretty cool.
100%. And you know, here's the thing, man. Like I've met you a number of times. You know, like we've had contact with each other, and it's like it's almost weird, like when this nice of a guy who's always smiling is also somebody that will straight up kick your ass. You know what I mean? Like and could at will. You know. You know what I mean?
I'll keep smiling the whole time too.
Right. Like these really nice people can straight up like really hurt you, like if they wanted to. It's almost bizarre, but it's kind of cool, you know. Like you're a dangerous guy, you know. So Janine, what
takes a certain level of control, you know?
It does. And at the end of the day, it's a sport. It's a sport. It's a game.
Yeah,
right?
it is a sport. And it takes a certain level of control and understanding to be a champion.
Yes, Janine. What questions?
It takes discipline. Like you don't have too many undisciplined champs out there.
I love the fact that it's like nighttime and you're wearing sunglasses. Like you're like an OG right now. Like this is badass.
Yeah, I know. That's cool. Right?
And like, and you're just like the OG of BKFC. Oh, that rhymes. The OG.
I like that.
Like, do you have sex with those belts on? Like, are you like, yeah, baby, come on? Like, do you like, you know, do you show off the belts in your own manly way that you've earned?
I mean, it's part of the, you know, it's part of being a champion. It's part of being Bandito, you know, and it's you know, I don't really. This is me, you know. I don't have to pretend. I don't have a character. The guys that know me know that I don't really have to, like, there's no spiel or there's no gimmick or anything. It's just me, you know, and I love doing this. And that's why you know, and I show off the belts and I love doing this stuff. But yeah, I mean, people love the belts. I don't mind showing them off.
I'm loving your.
Yeah, the belts is just for the added effect. The glasses for the added effect. You know, it was cool.
I love it,
dude. It's great.
Right now.
It's great. So Janine wants to know. All right, why don't you repeat the question, Janine? Because you know how I am.
I do. I mean, because honestly, if I had a bunch of belts, I would want to have sex with my belt and be like, "Yeah, you're screwing the champ. Yeah, what? You're laughing. You know I'm right.
Yeah, damn.
Like I'm getting this.
Is that something that's on your to-do list or your
chopped
bucket
up again.
list?
You keep chopping
Have you
out.
done it?
I can't
Like
hear
I
you.
want to know.
Okay. So before you answer, champ, I'm getting this visual of my friend Kala. She was telling me recently that her favorite horror movie is American Psycho. So I'm getting this American Psycho like visual right now. But all right, go ahead and answer the question.
Yeah, no. See, I don't wear the belts. Like I got home and I was like, I told my girl, I'm like, I want you to wear the belts for me.
Oh, that's hot.
Oh Lord, the directions we could go.
You're like, hey baby, wear my belt.
You
Wear
guys
my
chop it up.
That is so hot.
Oh my gosh.
I can't right now. I'm trying.
Right.
That's my treasure.
Right.
I got my treasures all in one place.
Hey, I tell you what he don't do. He don't wear the belts in the Waffle House.
Yeah.
That don't happen.
Oh,
What's up, Bobo? My man.
I'm sorry.
What's up, brother?
I love Bobo. Bobo is he's Bobo. What can you say about Bobo?
He was way too excited about this conversation. He even ran in the room. I can't control him. I'm sorry.
Before he was gonna be perfect with bare knuckle, and it's awesome doing his thing. And he's like he's a character, and he's one of those guys that's known in the bare knuckle community is just to be an awesome dude, and everybody's always looking forward to his fight. So I love Bobo, and I'm glad he's doing his thing.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. And Steve, thank you, Steve Walker Bose. I hope I'm saying your name right, man. Thank you. He just said that we're the best show ever. So, and then now he's laughing his butt off about it. So, thank you, Steve. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for watching. So okay. And Bobo says he's there's my buddy. So. But listen, if you guys don't know Bobo, and we'll talk a lot about Bobo, that happens to be my co-host's husband, and he's one of the top heavyweight bare knuckle fighters in the world, really. And he's one of the most fun bare knuckle fighters to watch. You'll never see a boring.
Yeah, Bobo's a character,
right?
Yeah,
he's just as fun in real life.
Right.
That's the thing about bare knuckle. Like the mainstays in bare knuckle, all of them, the guys. They're all characters, it's larger than life characters, and these guys are something special,
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
being a part of this. This last show was sick. It was an awesome.
Oh
fight,
my gosh!
Different levels, but it was still.
I want to talk about that for just. I want to take a brief segue into this last BKFC event, and of course we had a big BYB event, BKB BYB event going on today.
Yeah, I gotta go back and watch those.
Yeah, I do too. I was tied up and I couldn't watch it live, but I'm definitely going to watch it because I watch everything. Yeah. If it's bare knuckle, I'm watching. But and so I'm anxious to see how that went, and I'm excited about it because I think it was a really cool card.
Has the next card been announced yet?
For BYB?
Yeah.
That I don't know. And listen, I have an insider friend who will have the answer to that. You know who I'm talking about.
I seen that Yomi's back. Is Yomi gonna fight?
The Killer Bee is in the house.
Hey,
what's up, Taylor?
Oh, snap. What's up, girl? When you fighting again?
Well, that's a good question.
Listen. Hopefully soon.
So we want to get to that.
Yeah, you trying to get that gold,
huh?
She's coming. She's coming. We know she wants it. We know she wants it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Taylor Starling, the Killer Bee. She is currently ranked as the number 2 ladies flyweight, correct? Make sure I say that right. Ladies flyweight contender in the world. And that's something I want to touch on really quickly. And I do have some I know we all have questions for Taylor. But the number 2 contender. Is that fair?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you directly.
Listen, a lot of people are mad about it, but honestly, I see why. Like, Britain has more fights than me. She has more experience.
She's been around for a while.
So that's why I agree with it. But
you can't take anything away from Britain. I mean, she's done a great job.
Number 2. That's like you're one fight away from being a champ.
Yeah.
I'm the number 1 contender now. Britain had her shot in February.
Yeah, you fight for the belt. You can still fight for the belt.
So
Numbers
I'm
don't
number
mean
one
shit.
contender, 100%. So I'm not mad about it, but I definitely see why Britain is number one above me. But now I'm the number one contender. Just that's it. That's all. And who else makes sense to fight Christine?
Yeah.
Not a
Well,
single.
all the people enjoying the little
Nobody.
numbers and all the little
I'll tell you right now, nobody.
other little rankings and stuff. I hope you're enjoying your little numbers because reality is gonna come soon. Yeah, you're gonna have to be in there.
Yeah.
that
And
the
they
rope
say,
will
like,
drop down and then you're gonna be stuck in the
You know, it's a lot with like people. People are constantly like people don't realize like the matchmaking's out of my hands, and like the last like Cassie Robb and Hannah Guy were fights that were out of my hand. But when I fought Hannah Guy, 22 people turned down that opportunity, and Hannah Guy was the one person that was like, I will take that fight. And she's a tough chick. Like if you do your homework, Hannah Guy's really tough. So it gets out of my hands, and then 22 people turned that fight down, and 90% of them were people that were like in bare knuckle already. Like,
yeah. I mean,
your job is to fight the person that's in front of you.
That's right.
It's bizarre because I mean, so many fights are turned down, and then you involve management, and they have a say in things, and sometimes management doesn't communicate well to fighters. I mean, there are all these levels to this stuff, and that's kind of the point of this show is like the insider like perspective, like of people who are inside the like. There's so much crap that happens behind the scenes that no one will ever hear about. We won't hear about it.
And it's like, I want to fight Christine. Christine wants to fight me, and then it's like people.
That's a good matchup.
We can't just say we want to fight each other, and then it happens and it falls into our lap. Like I'm gonna be honest with you guys. They offered me. I've been telling them I want Christine. They offered me somebody April 21st that was 0-0, and I said absolutely not. I don't need to be fighting any 0-0. I don't need to fight anybody else as a debuter in bare knuckle. And I want to fight Christine, and I'm not taking anything else for an answer. And if I get like sat out and they don't want to let me fight, and that just comes with it. But I don't, unless it's Britain, Beck, Paige Van Zant, which I would only fight.
Legitimate contender.
Yeah, like I'm the number one contender.
You can fight an old person if it's like a UFC legend or a boxing veteran or something that you could justify it, but you need to be the top people. You're the top. You're trying to be the top of the food chain. You got to be top. That's what you got to be chomping at.
So fighting someone 0-0 in 2 weeks, I was like, absolutely not. I'm fighting Christine.
And I want to pause there for just a moment because I want to validate, Taylor, what you're saying, because I actually had a conversation earlier today with, and I don't name names unless they tell me I can, but somebody that is on the inside of, as inside as you can be. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. And I was told that exact thing.
Yep.
That today that you were offered a fight with somebody else and that you told them, nope, I only want Christine.
Yep, 100%.
And
that's what I want.
So I know that because I literally had that conversation earlier today. And so props to you because I mean, let's be honest, Christine's a tough fight for anybody. She is.
Yeah, but that's the only fight that makes sense right now.
Yeah, but it is.
Yeah, but that's the aspirations, That's the aspirations that she got, though. That she don't want to fight an 0-0 guy. She want to be the champion.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's like people don't realize I get the heat. I get the heat of Taylor's only fighting cans. It's like, well, up until this point, that's the only people that had said yes to fight me and that I've been offered, and I have nothing to do with it. It's out of my hands. But this time I was like, absolutely not. Now, if they were like, look, we're about to boot you, you're not going to be fighting ever again, blah, blah, blah. And I had, like, if it was something I had to do, like, I would do it. But I'm like, this is where I'm putting my foot down. Like, no, I'm fighting Christine.
Taylor, do you have a good rapport with her, or is there some beef?
There's some beef. Like, there's just some little comments that, like, I've never had problems with Christine, but she's always running her mouth. And I'm not, like, I am the nicest person, but I'm not going to take shit. Like, I'm not going to take shit. And I think Christine thinks that everybody's so scared of her. I'm not scared of her. She can talk all the junk in the world, and I'm unbothered. Like, I am just chilling. Like, all right, Christine, we're going to see. I think she's really sleeping on me. And one of the things I believe is when you're a champ, like it's easy, like not easy, but it's easy to get the belt because you're more motivated, you're more determined, you're driven. It's harder to keep that belt. And I think Christine's going to sleep on me with this fight. She's going to sleep on me and she's going to think it's just going to be some walk in the park. And I can't wait to show her what's up.
Wow. I'm digging this. I can feel the tension. It's only going to intensify as you build up to actually fight.
She says
and I know Christine's awesome, but like when she's gonna fight you, like she's that's how she is. She make it a fight. So I'm sure it's gonna get even more and more dirty the closer the fight gets.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm not scared to bang, so that's what
I'm gonna enjoy. I
for.
know you guys are both tough, and I think you're ready for it. It's gonna be competitive. It'll be fun.
Oh man.
Real quick, Taylor, where do you fight out of? What state?
I'm in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Okay. So, and when did you get into this sport originally?
I got into this sport when I was really young. I was like 13. I actually was getting picked on at school, and I had some friends that were in a taekwondo gym. I tried to do wrestling and get on the wrestling team, and there weren't really any females, so I just didn't enjoy it as much. So I went to a taekwondo gym and tried jiu-jitsu, and I tried taekwondo, and I was like, this is fun, but I really want to just punch. Like, I want to punch somebody. I want to get punched. And once I started boxing, that was it. It was over. And then I took my first amateur fight when I was 15. So it's just been I've loved it ever since.
That's awesome.
That's great.
So outside of the fighter, Taylor, because I always like to try to get to know the fighters a little bit more, because I always like to connect with people, because I'm a people person. Y'all know I talk too much usually. So outside of fight, there's the other champ. Outside of fight, Taylor, I know earlier you said you were, getting your kiddos down and all that good stuff. So tell us about being a mom.
Man, it's wild. Like just now, my youngest son, he's 4. Like, we went to the movies, went to see Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm like, we got to be home by 9. He's bawling his eyes out because he's tired. The other one's like talking my head off, and I'm just like, I'm trying to do all the things and get everything done. But it's great. Like, it's so rewarding. Like, when you just, like, I get to share that with them. I get to have them in the gym. Everything they do everything with me. They're my best friends. They think I'm the champion already. My youngest tells me every day, you're the champion. It's definitely a hard balance. Like, it's hard to balance. Like, social media and things makes everything look so easy and wonderful and perfect. And it's not. Like, it's hard. It's really hard to do that. I'm driving to and from school every day, multiple times a day, training, making sure they're good, they're straight. I'm giving them their time. Like, dealing with their dad, like me and their dad are divorced, so I always gotta battle my time with him. Like, when I have a fight, I gotta say, hey, I'm leaving. You gotta cover the week for me. It's a lot, but it's the most difficult, rewarding job in the world.
So how do they react when you come home to fights? If your face gets a little messed up or something, how do they react to that?
My oldest one hates it. He's super sensitive, like me, so he's very much so just like, I hope you're okay. And then my youngest one, he could not give a shit. He's just like, it's like he don't even see it. He's like, you're good. And then my oldest one, though, just like loses it every time. I called him after I fought Charissa Segala, and my face looked like sloth off the Goonies, but with blood on it.
Oh man, that was so wild though.
It was traumatizing. He held it together on the phone, and he was like, good job, Mom. And then when he hung up, he was like, cried all night long.
Oh man. So I mean, being a parent is the champ. Listen, what a lineup right here. Look at this. There's no other show.
I was letting you guys know the champ is here.
People like this. There's no other show in this business that has this kind of a bare knuckle lineup. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm freaking honored. So we have the welterweight champ, we have the heavyweight champ, and we have one of the top contenders in the ladies flyweight division and one of the biggest superstars in the sport in Taylor. So guys, I'm honored. Welcome the boogeyman, Arnold, AJ,
a man
Adam.
of few words.
The heavyweight champion of the world.
My mic was on mute, but fucking Elvin, bro. You look like
Come on,
Razor
man.
Ramon
Come
right
on,
now, bro.
Come on, man. Come on, Arnold.
That's why I was
we have
laughing when
our-
I got in. I look over there.
I know you
He's
don't
got
need
his
your belts.
glasses.
You don't even need
It's
his belts.
nighttime.
You don't
He's
got
got
his
his
belts. It's all
sunglasses
good.
on. He's got
He
his
looks
belts
badass.
on.
It's
And-
kind of a
and-
mixture between like Queen of the South and Narcos. Like if they like
Right,
merge,
right.
you know, like
Great. It's great. So, all right. So in the interest of this show, so I did have a question. This is kind of a panel question. I'd like to ask each of you, like I ask one question. I want each of you to give an answer. But so you know, the whole question of the psychology behind all of this and how it affects you guys. And the question of mental health, because I think that is, you know, something that a number of people, you know, a huge percentage of people, whether they want to admit it or not, it's something that people deal with, whether it's directly, whether it's with them or a family member or a friend or you know whatever. But I know that a number of fighters, especially, I mean, it's a tough lifestyle, guys. And but how has that affected each of you guys, and what has been sort of your journey with that, or how's that affected you? I want to start, ladies first, of course, with Taylor.
I was gonna say,
And-
ladies first, Arnold, take it away.
oh man.
I'm just kidding.
So Taylor, talk about your journey in that world.
You know, it's hard for me. I actually suffer from bipolar 1 disorder, and I have like really bad bouts of like mania. So it could be anywhere from like me having crazy mood swings to like staying up all night. Like there's certain nights where I can't even fall asleep. That's usually when I'm like manic. I didn't even know I had it until about 8 months ago. And I always knew I was kind of crazy, but I was just like, man, I'm just another woman. Like, I'm just a woman. Women are crazy. And then, yeah, I was like, that's just all women. And then there were certain things that I'm like, maybe that's not normal. Maybe that's not normal. And I'm sure, like, fighting definitely is a very emotional sport. It's mental, physical, everything. It's like a roller coaster. So, you know, it can be a lot mentally, like when you're dealing with the promotional side of it and you're not getting answers, or you're not getting what you want right away, or the fight falls through, or you're hyped up.
That part.
Yeah.
That
like
part.
it's like you can get it from all angles. Losing a fight fucking sucks. Like getting ready for a fight fucking is hard. It's fun, but then it has the days where it's just never ending and awful. And you're like, what am I even doing this for? And then you got managers and promoters and sponsors, and you're trying to make money, and then you throw in bipolar 1 disorder and mania with me. I don't know. I handle it pretty well. It's just something that, like, when I first found out I had it, I think it made me overthink it. You overthink things like that. I've been handling it a lot better, but it made sense. Like, I was like, oh, okay, now I know what, like, something I have, and I got to handle it, and it's different. So, and then I'm an emotional female on top of that. So I'm just emotional. So,
well, I know I had to look up bipolar recently because of a reason, but I know that when I first heard of it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's like mean people. Like I just thought, you know, they were just angry all the time. And yeah, it's not that. Like the stigma of bipolar is not what it actually is.
No.
yeah,
Until you meet
go ahead, Arnold.
someone with it, you have no idea what it is until you meet someone and see what it is to be bipolar.
Yeah, and
But there are different levels too. There are different levels, right?
True.
Yeah.
Hey, I learned from that comedian. Her name is Taylor Tomlinson. She says, I always say like suffer because people
I
recognize.
love her. She's one of my favorites.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't say I suffer from bipolar disorder. I say I have bipolar disorder. So it sounds a lot cooler. Yeah, and you don't even realize, like, I didn't realize that I had it like that until my psychiatrist told me, like, damn, you're pretty bad. I was like, oh. I didn't know it was that. Like, I didn't see it like that. I just thought I was just emotional, and like my biggest problem is I'm very spontaneous, I guess will be the word, like manic and spontaneous, and I'll talk too much, or I'll go do something that's like off the wall, random, that I know is like probably not good for me, or like not needed at the time. Like I don't know. I'm very impulsive. So yeah, and then I get the rage for sure. So I try to channel it with fighting and keeping, that's what keeps me sane, really.
Well, I'm glad that you shared that with us because
Thank you,
nobody
Taylor.
besides
Yeah.
Bo knows this, but I was diagnosed with it about a month ago. So my family don't even know. I guess if they're watching, they know now. So that's
They do now.
sorry, y'all.
They
But
do now. Yeah.
which is crazy because like when I told Bo, he was like, "You?" Because I don't have like I don't explode. I'm very calm. I never get angry really. But then like something happens and I'm like, he says, it's like a totally different person looking at him, and he's like, "Okay," like. So it was something, like I said, I had to research it myself because when I was diagnosed, I came home and was like, they're crazy. I don't have that. But once you actually research it and you learn about it, it's not as, it's not as bad as what I thought it was anyway. So I'm glad you shared that with us. And
It depends on the situation. I mean, it can be really bad. And
Yes.
I've had personal experiences, not me personally, but
Mm.
but with family members, that it's a pretty powerful thing. And it can be very, very, very serious. And so, but I think that's kind of like one of the neat things about this show is like that we're going to bring people on. We're going to ask you tough questions and talk about like shit that like other people ain't going to talk about. And so again, Taylor, thank you. Respect for
Yes.
opening up and talking about that. But I want to let the men talk about like what has been your like how is all this nonsense and all the craziness and all of the drama and everything. I mean, it does have an effect on you. I'm not even a fighter, and it's affected me at certain times because I've said some dumb shit like online, like in the interviews, and like and it literally had an effect on me because like then everyone was coming after me after I said something stupid online. And and then I'm like, oh God, I'm so stupid. But have you guys had anything like that or any aspects of the buildup or the aftermath or any of those things that have really like affected you? And Bobo says that Arnold wears dresses, so we can talk about that, but I don't know if it's true.
Oh no, he went away
people,
too.
like, if people don't know you, they don't know you.
Yeah. No, people don't know you.
Understand what like how you lead up to where you're at. And I've been fighting for 20 years since I was 16. I was a kid. I started amateur boxing. I did amateur MMA. I did pro MMA, and I was doing bare knuckle. This opportunity just presented itself to us, and for me, it's just been a journey to my life, and I've been just growing personally, and just learning. And every time I look back, and there's things that I'm ashamed of, the things I could have done better, and things that I'm embarrassed about. But every time I look back and I see myself like that, I know that I'm growing, because if you look back and it is what you are now. You're not growing, so you should always be aspiring for more. So right now, one of the biggest things for me that helped me become a champion is just because it's not about the world really. It's the way you see the world. It's more important than reality. It's how you see the world and how the world is. And for me, it's just kind of like just a lot of times you kind of rebel against the natural order and how things are. And I think things are pretty simple, and you always think you know better, but I think when you just let yourself go with how things are supposed to be, and you take care of the things that need to be taken care of, then there's plenty of space to do all this extra shit. Like for me, like I the more balanced I am at home, the more grounded I am, and the more I have screw you. But
I'm trying so hard.
Able to fight. I don't really pay attention to any, because I understand reality, and like the internet's not. It's not the reality that I deal with all the time. Like it's just
right.
There's people. There's always going to be noise. There's always going to have someone that says there's going to be opinion.
Because it's not a real place.
So I just worry about stuff that I could affect. Right. That I could work on, my family, my life, my fights. Then I love the talking, because I love when people build up the fights. It's part of the fights. It's okay when people building up the fights. It doesn't affect it, because it doesn't matter by the time we get in the ring. It ain't gonna matter once you get in there.
Not at all.
But right now, fighting, especially bare knuckle, it takes a lot out of you. It's a big like you invest yourself in so much emotion. Like get gray hairs every time you fight, you know, and it's like getting in a car accident. Every time you fight, it's like a car accident. It could be like a light little accident where you just hurt your wrist, or it could be a real bad one where you just get mangled. But it takes a lot out of us. I think we're all underpaid. I think even the best paid bare knuckle fighter is underpaid.
Oh my gosh, that's an entire another conversation of the fighters.
It's such an emotional investment. And
we'll all get canceled. Stop talking about it. Right.
It is what it is. There's nothing against promotion, but look, it's a bare knuckles new. You know, it's not nothing against the promotion. It is what it is. You know, even the best paid bare knuckle fighter is underpaid because this isn't an athletic endeavor. This isn't like boxing or MMA. Like these are fights and we're just
a journey, man.
We're pouring ourselves in there. You see the girls, they go in there and they put their heart out there, you know, and that puts a mark on you. That puts a mark on the people watching the fight. People watch the fight and they're like, holy shit, like it changes the way I see it. So it's just you can only see how it affects the fighters and how they see themselves. When I first started bare knuckle, I didn't even want to tell people that I was doing it. Like I don't even want to know people because it was so different. I didn't even want to tell people that I'm fighting bare knuckle. But now there's lots of fights and blood splatters everywhere, and I'm just like, yeah. Like,
it's becoming it's mainstreaming. It's starting mainstream. Like it's becoming more and more accepted, but there's still like even a stigma around it. But AJ, the champ, what's been your mental health journey in this? Has it affected you? Like has it like have there been things that have impacted you like in your experience, like with everything, all of this entire journey? Like what's that been like for you?
Was that for me?
Yeah.
Oh, so like no, my internet connection is acting real janky right now. So it like I don't know what happened. Well, repeat the question, please.
I want to hear about your journey in this. How has it affected you mentally? Like, what have you struggled with? What have you felt great about? And I mean, Taylor. Sorry, I'm always opposite. There we go. Taylor went into some depth. So, what's your journey been like?
The hardest thing for me is getting confirmation on fights. Honestly, like the first time I won the belts, I had to wait damn near a year before I had a title defense. And my original opponent, they switched like 2 weeks before the fight and gave me a new opponent. Like it seems like I get dicked around a lot. Even just now, I've been waiting. Whose fault?
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's
Who's
not
to blame?
mine. It's not my manager's fault. You know, I'm not gonna.
And I'm putting you on the spot. So I'm not. Don't throw anybody under the bus if it's going to hurt you.
No, yeah, I'm not going to speak any. You know, I just feel like I'm not what the face of the company is expected to be. I'll say that.
What are they expecting, though? That's an interesting comment. I want to hear from everybody. Yeah. And I want to hear from Janine. I want to hear from Britton and all of our insiders on this show. I want to hear everyone.
That's not what they want.
What are they expecting and what are they looking for?
I believe they're looking for the clear-cut image. Someone who represents the country well. I'll say that.
Okay.
If you can kind of follow where I'm going with that. Prime example, your boy. They really had high hopes for your guy.
Okay. Yep. So, and that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. So that like at the beginning of all of this, Sam Shoemaker was expected to be the face of this company.
I believe it.
And I can't speak for Sam, and I don't speak for Sam, personally, but I can only imagine that had to be. I mean, you listen. No one like if you knew where we come from. We come from nothing and nowhere. Right. All right. We're from the middle of nowhere in a town that nobody's ever heard of. Probably like most of you guys graduated from a high school and your graduating class was higher than the population of our town that we grew up in. Okay. Okay. All right. So nobody's ever had any recognition for anything where we're from. and then all of a
Right.
sudden you're the face of a brand new sport. That's a tall order, you know.
Yeah. There was a lot of pressure on him, even going back
Yeah.
to the tryout. Like they really followed him from the tryout. Mind you, we were at the same tryout. I didn't have a single camera pointed at me. The only clip you see of me in the BKFC 1 tryout is them focusing on, I think his name is Mark Oaktree or something like that. They're focusing on him, and you just happen to see me just finish hitting pads. But other than that, they had their guys picked out. Sam was one of those guys.
So I feel like this might be a call out moment. Like I feel like somebody tagged Nate Shook and David Feldman in this because I feel like Arnold might be like low key calling out Sam for a rematch. I don't know that I can't speak for the champion. He paused.
Hey, here I am.
I just spoke for you, man. I just told the world that you're calling out Sam. So,
no, me and Sam have been cool since BKFC 1. Like we've been good buds.
The
well, there
Wi-Fi.
you go. Yeah. So, okay. I mean, listen. Sam is a good friend. I love Sam, and he's my guy. But
this is weak as hell. I'm underneath the router. What the fuck?
All right.
You said people
okay.
were tagging Nate Shook, and that's when you started cutting out.
Yeah. Going back to BKFC 1, I was the very first fight of the night, and it's gonna cut me off again. I'm tired of this shit. Jesus fucking.
All right, so
alrighty.
So the champ's going to come on, but listen, I think what we can all take from that, and probably this is not true, but I feel like he was calling out Sam. And Sam's my friend, so I got to say, let's make the fucking rematch. Oh my god, I just said that for my mom's going to be so embarrassed. I'm sorry, Mom. But
he already got a fight lined up. He's fighting Collector next.
He is. It's already announced. That's going to be a cool fight. Yeah. So I want to touch on one thing, and then I want to. There he is.
I'm done talking. It doesn't want me to talk. Clearly.
So let's talk about like a career outside of fighting for you guys, because listen, there's a shelf life on all of you, whether you want to admit it or not, and whether you want to think about it or not. You all have a shelf life, right?
That's depressing, Matt.
That's a
Thanks.
Hey, I'm just hitting you with some real shit.
We're all gonna die one day.
In like 30 seconds. Sorry. Okay, but you guys, it's an athletic competition, right? That you guys are involved in. So you have a shelf life. What are you going to do afterwards? I mean, are you going to commentate? Are you going to pursue a career in? Are you going to?
I got plenty of shit that I could do, man. I'm already getting hit for that.
What's that?
I know.
Say it again, Elvin.
I got plenty of stuff that I could do, like more than just a fighter. So like, this is just a phase of my life. When I'm done with it, then I'll be ready to move on to the next thing. It's just like every other chapter in my life. So,
dude, you're kind of like training
make the best of it.
You're kind of like already like laying some groundwork for training, like some of the really high level fighters in this sport. So,
yeah, no, I plan on staying. I've been training people since I was a kid, so I plan on staying in the game for a long time. Obviously, I can't fight forever, but I do plan on training people and working with people. Bare knuckles a new game and needs people like me, so I plan on staying in the game for a long time. And but like I said, I'm more than just a fighter, so I'm not worried about it, man. I'm just enjoying my life and enjoying what we're doing, and I'll be ready for the next chapter when it comes.
Have fun and bring it on when it's over, right?
You gotta have foresight, though, man. You gotta think about where you're going. Not only where you're coming from, but where you're going.
Absolutely, Taylor. What's your game plan?
My game plan is my dream is to own my own coffee shop. So I want to I'm building, saving money and stuff like that, building towards that. I want to own my own business, but I would love for it to be my own coffee shop. I want to have I want to roast coffee in-house. I want to do that, which sounds so random, but that's one of my things. I've always wanted to own a business. And if I had to say, I want to own a coffee shop. So that's something that I'm building towards to make happen, even while I'm fighting, and then have it when I'm done fighting.
That's
cool. Easier than you think it is. Once you get it done, you're gonna be like,
yeah,
it's a lot easier. Once you get started, it's easy, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to start businesses.
I
You
love
could
this.
call
I
it
love
like Killa Bee Bruise or something fun like that.
No, awesome. And the
that'd
thing
be
is,
dope.
like, it has to be a means to a means, because the reality is that nobody in this sport, other than aside from maybe the promoters, is really making like the type of money that, like, okay, this next fight I'm going to retire on, you know. But so you have to invest wisely, and you have to be smart about what you do, and understand that listen, this is a limited time opportunity for me to do this, and so let's make some money while we're here, and then let's use that to do what we're going to do next, right? So right.
So
I have a question for.
baker and a barista. Like I've always been a really good barista and a really good baker. So I'm like, I can take that, start a business. Boom. There we go.
Boom.
There we go.
Boom.
So Taylor, since she said Taylor B just a minute ago, where did the nickname come from? Killa B? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, my one of my teammates, her name's Lady Tapa. She's a heavyweight female, and she's a pro wrestler. She's actually she's really badass. She's a boxer, wrestler, and I'm so tiny. And like I used to be even smaller than I am now, and I would spar with her, and I'm sparring this big girl. She's 200 pounds, like way heavier than me. And I'm sparring with her, and she would like throw one punch, and I'd be throwing 100 punches to like her one punch, just hitting her in the face, and like a dog. And she was just like, "Man, you're like a bee that just like keeps stinging me, me." And she just kind of like kept going, "Okay, Killa B, okay, Killa B," and then everyone started Killa B.
I love it. I love it. So Elvin has disappeared.
Yes.
He's feeding the goats.
He is.
No. We're gonna be hanging out. I'm getting a beer so we can hang out.
Oh boy.
I kind of figured that.
Yeah. So, to our guests and our guest host, what questions do you guys have for each other? I think that's kind of an interesting thing. Like, do you guys is there anything else you want to ask each other between the fighters and Ms.
Sam, when
Janine?
you going? What round you knocking out Dylan? Is it gonna be a decision? How are you gonna do this?
I don't do these. I don't do predictions unless there's some trash talking going on. I feel some type of way. You know, he's been kind of quiet, so we've both been just patiently waiting for this fight to be announced.
Yes, it should be a good one. But man, you're the champ.
Oh,
man.
it is an interesting
I
fight.
got faith in you, bro.
And Britton and I were kind of like messaging each other about, like, that's a really interesting matchup.
We're excited.
You know, it really is, because you have Dylan Kleckler, who's been coming in and just been absolutely terrifying in this division so far. I mean, just he's been scary so far. But on the other hand, you have his polar opposite, who's also been terrifying in AJ Adams, who is, you know, moves better than any other heavyweight and is highly skilled, you know.
There's no other heavyweight I ever seen move like Arnold Adams, man.
I think
I
what
haven't
it is,
seen it.
they're not
For a man your
scared of me.
size, it's incredible.
Everyone thinks they have me figured out. Oh, I can do this, I can do that to him, but it's different when you're in there with me. Like, there it goes again. Fuck, I hate this shit.
His internet is giving him problems. It's giving him problems.
And you know what's funny? I always say how sweet he is. Like I always talk about how sweet and everything he is, and he's like, So, Janine, what do you have?
I don't normally drink, but I've been hanging out with my in-laws, you know.
I think getting just to know more about BKFC athletes on a personal level, because coming from BYB, I've gotten to know a lot of the BYB fighters on a personal level, interviewing them on shows. So it's kind of a transition. It's the same sport, but every company has a different culture, right? So
100%.
there's a culture in BYB, just like there's a culture in BKFC, and once you're in the fight world, you're in it. I mean, everyone kind of knows everybody indirectly, right? So I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, I think
It's silly.
people will get to know me. People will get to know who I am, but a lot of people have no clue who I am or what I've done or how the hell I came to sit here. And I think we'll uncover that as we go.
Can I tell them? Can I tell them a little bit about you?
I've heard. I will say this: Matthew has told me so much about you. He has bragged and bragged,
Listen,
and I'm ecstatic about it.
Oh, that's
Janine,
awesome! You could brag a little bit.
I want to
just
brag.
bought my beer, so tell us.
Listen,
Go ahead.
Janine is literally a superstar. Like you guys don't know her, but she is an insider. She's an insider, not even just in the world of combat sports, but listen, this person is a consummate professional in the media world. She has produced television on produced shows, right? Television shows on Fox Business Network and Lifetime Network for several years. Like she is a television producer for some of the biggest shows and the biggest names on some of the biggest networks in television. And here she is on the Fight Mixer family.
It's fun. I think
awesome.
I think it's
awesome.
You know what's fun. It's like when you hear the word like TV producer, right? It sounds like so glitz and glamour, but at the end of the day, we're in the trenches with these celebrities doing take after take, trying to get things to work smoothly. And a lot of that glitz and glamour goes out the door when you're getting the celebrity Robitussin so that don't cough on set, or they're like, like everyone at the end of the day, everyone's so normal and everyone's human at the end, no matter where you come from. And I appreciate completely hearing about talking about bipolar disorder, because what Taylor dropped my IG on your fans, because I have history with that with family members and my spouse. So I understand all of that. So yeah, you'll get to know me, but it's fun. Life is fun.
Hey, I'm excited to have you here. And I know, listen, seeing David Potter's face means that it's time to wrap up the show. So we're going to go.
It was just so good.
There's got to be a buzz kill. There's got to be a bonus trigger in the chat. I apologize, guys. I'm so sorry.
It's
but
time
it
to
was
wrap it up.
awesome. Elvin and both of you guys. So, and of course, Arnold.
Taylor and Elvin and Arnold, thank you guys so much for coming
AJ
on.
better drop me just to cash at me if he wants me to plug his IG anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, AJ, if you want Taylor to plug you, you got to pay. Listen, she's got to get paid. She doesn't work for free. But any closing thoughts from our two amazing guests, Taylor and Elvin? Let's again, ladies first, and then we will close out with our amazing co-host. And listen, Janine's show debuts on Fight Mixer next Sunday, so she will be part of our team. She's going to have her own show. It's going to be called, of course, Skulls and Stilettos, and it's going to be awesome. Yay. And I can't wait because listen, I can't do a show with Janine because like. Well, tell them why I can't do a show, because I'm super reserved, and
I make you blush because
she makes me blush too much.
And things come out of my mouth, as you've already heard. You know, I'm very perverted. I like talking about sex a lot. I just do. I think it's hilarious.
I don't talk about like sex or any of those like issues that like push the envelope too much, because I'm a small town country boy, and like my mom watches this, so.
I'm just over here panicking the whole time. Like, do I have to talk during this?
I don't talk about it, but she will, and she does a really good job of it, and it's a lot of fun, and I love watching it. But okay, so again, ladies first, closing thoughts. Killa B, what do you want to leave us with?
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on. Thank you for letting me talk about mental health. It's a pleasure. I think Arnold, Elvin, all of you guys are so awesome. Anybody wants to come hop on my podcast anytime, I've got my own. I'm looking forward to fighting for that belt, and I want everybody to raise hell, because I want everyone to let them know just as much as I have every day that I deserve this. I know I deserve it. I'm ready. I'm excited. I can't wait to put on a show, and I love you guys. I love everybody. Thank you guys for having me.
We love you.
It's so much of an honor to have you on. Come back anytime. All right, Elvin, close it out.
Well, guys, I appreciate you guys having me, man. It's always nice to see you guys in my bare knuckle community. It's always cool.
Of course.
Taylor, if you want me on your show, let me know, man. We'll go hang out and bullshit with you. And my man's, I appreciate you for having us on. And like I said, you guys, whenever you guys want, you can call me and I'll be on your show. We'll bullshit a little bit. And it's cool. It's a little different. We're just hanging out. Get to sit back a little bit. I actually got to go right back at it tomorrow. So it's kind of cool to get a little bit of rest and bullshit a little bit before you get back on it. So appreciate you guys.
To the both of you, anytime you want to come on, talk to me, talk to David Potter, talk to Britton, and we will bring you on upon your request anytime.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Thank
y'all.
Thank you guys so much. And we are the Bare Knuckle Insiders, and we have a really great show coming up next week. And please stay tuned in for the next show on the Fight Mixer block with All Ass In Alli.
I'm never half-assing.
She's not half-ass. She's all ass. And he's coming up next on the Strange Pie featuring the Fight Mixer Network. And there's Karen. What's up, Karen? So they're going to talk about some weird shit. I don't even know what are you all going to talk about on the next show?
That animal. Ghosts and animals.
Goes
Not
along.
dead animals. Well, yeah, dead animals. But
coming up next on Strange Pie on the Fight Mixer Network is the Strange Pie Show, talking about dead animals and ghosts and all kinds of weird shit. So tune in, stay tuned in. Don't touch that dial. It's coming up right now.
Happy Domingo.
it's hard to not get amped with that.
What?
So it's hard to not get amped with that theme coming in.
And I don't know why. It reminds me very much of the 90s. Oh, there it goes.
Yes, like real MTV.
Yeah. It does remind me of that. Not real world though, that's for sure. Hi, Janine. Welcome. It's your first time.
Hi.
I hope you're okay.
Hey.
Hi, ladies. I love all ass in. Like I'm totally digging that because my ass is
never half-ass. Your whole ass has to go in.
I love it. I'm so into this.
No, that's what we've thought about this for a really long time, Alli and I, and we really wanted to bring a different wave, I think, to Fight Mixer. We still love the fight community, but we had all these other ideas, and we just don't want to be held down to just talking about one thing. We have so many different things we want to talk about. So hopefully you'll enjoy the show and jump in on some of the creepiness or odd stuff that we end up talking about. We're really sorry. Sambo is not here tonight. She couldn't join us. We will miss her, and we will see her back in May. So stay tuned for her coming back. Please welcome Janine for the first time on our show. She will be coming in, and she'll be making regular appearances with us as well. And Alli, how are you?
Good. Well, I mean, for the most part, I either have allergies or I came down with something. But like juniper is apparently really bad here, and I don't have much tolerance for it. And so I think that's affecting me. So I might sound like a sick Victorian child during this. So I'm sorry.
That's that gives me creepy memories too. So in New Mexico, I actually thought it was like better for allergies, or maybe that's Arizona that I was thinking of.
That's what I would assume too, because it's so dry. But apparently, cottonwood and juniper are really bad here. And I was pulling weeds at work one day, and I think I just like overexposed myself with it.
That could be it. Were you really bad in Iowa?
No, I mean I get hay fever seasonally, kind of like. But like this, like I just felt really cruddy. I didn't even go to work today, which is very strange for me if you know me personally. But I'm hoping I'm not sick.
How are you, Janine? Where are you located? Where are you broadcasting from?
I'm in South Florida.
Ooh.
Okay.
There in 2 months.
Oh, awesome. Where are you ladies
going? Yeah, we couldn't help but we went for the first time last June, and we bought like the cheapest hotel room we could find right on the ocean. It had a pool, like cool. And it turned out to be the coolest thing. It's actually in Lauderdale by the Sea is where
that's awesome. It's not too far. That's like 20 minutes from me, maybe.
I loved it so much that we tried to get the exact same one. We got one even cheaper this time. Same. It's like a little 50s motel. It's the cutest thing. Like I don't need much. Like you're outside the whole time. But man, if anyone is a thunderstorm buff or like that kind of weather, you guys have the best thunderstorms. Let me tell you. Like I mean, it was like the rain from the gods. Like I had to put down my groceries like back. Like I've never seen anything like it.
It's intense. Like I have a friend that lives 5 minutes away, and like he'll call me and be like, it is monsooning outside, and I will literally look out my front door and it is sunny and no cloud in the sky. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, what are you like? That's Florida. It's so inconsistent. Yeah.
And then you guys are like okay to be in like bathing suits half the time is totally normal, it seemed like, because I didn't know how to dress because I was like, okay, it seems sunny, but like I had so many like Instagram stories where I'm like walking barefoot because you're just like rivers of water flowing because you can't do anything because it's just like it's a monsoon. Have you ever been there, Alli?
No. Like, I barely left Iowa, so like even coming here was huge.
Don't worry. My last vacation was like over probably like 7 years ago, and it was Arizona, and so like I had to like I mean I'm broke.
Arizona does get way hotter than here. I know a lot of people that have been to Arizona and they think the weather's the same and they're like, oh, it's going to be so bad. But there's been some people that may hear they're from Arizona and like, no, it's way hotter over there.
Yeah, Phoenix at least is. But Miami in the Fort Lauderdale area, surprisingly, it was humid because of the storms a little bit, but it was nice. And I love it so much more. I think everyone goes to Fort Myers, but your side is like, what are you in the Fort Lauderdale or more towards Miami?
I am just north of Fort Lauderdale. So like there's Palm Beach County, then there's Broward County, and then Miami-Dade County. I'm in the middle. So I'm just north of Fort Lauderdale, but I'm about 45 minutes north of Miami. So really everything is like a straight shot, 45 minutes to an hour down here. Anywhere you want to go.
Michael Chandler's gym, then I think Sanford MMA. We have a couple of friends that go down there.
Sanford and ATT, they're real close. Everything's real within an hour. You could probably get to any like major gym down here. Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Well, don't worry.
There's got to be some good gyms over there because there was a fighter out of Iowa that was traveling to Florida routinely to go train at a gym there.
It's probably Sanford. Is my guess is it's like north of the Fort Lauderdale area.
Sanford's good. ACG is good. Goat Shed is up and coming. It's probably one of the best gyms now. It's in the Miami Design District downtown. We breed fighters down here in South Florida. That's like we're like a We do. We just breed fighters. It's awesome.
Everything's like extreme there.
If you have good partners to train with, I think it really, I think your success story is going to be really based on like who you also surround yourself by, and then by all the fighters being in Florida too. I think they kind of set themselves up for success.
For sure.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about.
I've heard a lot of good things about fighters that go to Denver too.
Oh yeah. Kamaru Usman is out of Denver. Like a lot of the UFC fighters are out of Denver, like Colorado Springs and stuff like that too.
Well, there's the altitude training.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we should probably get on topic.
This is not creepy at all.
I love that.
We're being too normal, Al. All right. So, yes, not yet, damn it. This is the second time our production team seems to be right. David Potter behind the scenes. Is he gonna peep out? No. David. Cat.
Is anyone else Mike weird?
I heard it, but it trickled out, so it's normal again.
Well, we don't have the horrible time last time, the horrible noise last time, and I have a mic, but I just can't get hooked up with my computer. There he is. Oh, hi, Sunshine.
What's up, squad? How you doing? Hey.
This is the guy behind all the cool things you see on this show. So please give a shout out to David Potter. He works hard.
What's going
on? And yeah, everyone on this probably in every picture on this podcast right now, aside from me, is like heavier into the podcast, and I really appreciate all of them. So thank you, David, for everything you do and for prematurely showing our pictures that we sent you.
So can we get down to brass and tacks, ladies? Like, do girls poop? I gotta know this. All right, we gotta get down to the bottom of it. Do girls really poop?
No. Yes. What did you say, Alli? Isn't there a pill? I need to take that pill.
True. I know.
I love talking about poop. That's like my favorite subject.
So, Janine, if that's the case, Alli.
Where's Alli? We got a little bit shy when we talked about it. So obviously you guys are hiding something. So like my fiance always says that she poops, but like I've never seen it, you know? So maybe she's hiding something. When I burst in the door, I try to give her high five. She gets
you know
all
what
mad.
they call that? Like when you poop and you don't see what goes in the toilet, it just happens to disappear. They call those ghost poops.
Ghost poops. It's very scary.
Ghost poops.
That's really actually where we have our meetings, and you're not supposed to be in there. That's why she freaks out, because she didn't have time to throw her phone real quick.
Right.
So
when I go by the door and I get curtain, like poop, 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 and she's like, yell at me. Obviously, she's not doing that. She's having her secret underground.
No, she's an angel. My mom says it was just sunshine and roses and nothing but flowers. So, and it's I live in a loft with my boyfriend, and a loft means you have no ceilings and no walls and a door that's
no privacy.
Really, yeah. I mean, no privacy. So
technically, you live in a cell with your partner.
What?
So technically, you're like in a cell with your partner.
Yeah, and when you need like space, it's really hard because you have to stay quiet on one end of the loft versus the other end of the loft, because you can still hear, like, if you're like trying to be on your phone, or like because you're mad at each other, or if you're pooping.
Eat some chips, and you're like.
He still has not heard me do any of that, so I feel like I should earn like some type of reward for living in a loft.
I wonder, like, some girls just don't talk about that at all.
Yeah,
like,
what do you say, Janine?
Like, some girls don't talk about that.
And then,
at all.
yeah, and then there's some that talk about it all the time.
I don't know how you guys are.
My best friend, God bless her, 35 years we've been best friends, and she's been married for over 10, and her husband still to this day has never seen or heard anything come out of her.
What a woman.
Like, literally, yeah, like she won't even poop when he's in the house. Like, he thinks literally that now granted, she used to be my roommate, so I know how rancid her asshole smells.
No.
I get it, but like he doesn't get it, so it's like really funny. So I make it a point to like try to fart when I'm in his presence, because I'm like, I'm thinking for her. I'm like, here, this is what you're missing out on, and like it's awesome. Like, that's all I can say. It's
yeah,
awesome.
I think ladies at home, if anyone's listening, or guys at home, there's two different girls types.
Yeah.
Are you like that, Al?
I don't like to talk. Like, if I usually just say, like, I go to the bathroom, I usually will never say I have to go, like, poop or shit. I did live with a guy one time that he took offense to that. He was like, we live together. He's like, seeing you naked and everything. He's like, why? He came to the bathroom one time and he went to do something. And he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm using the bathroom. He's like, I don't hear anything. I was like, because he's like, you can't poop in front of me? And I'm like, no. And he was like, he told me, he's like, you better do it. He's like, or I'm gonna squeeze you. But like, I don't know. I guess it depends on your partner. Some men don't even want to hear a woman like pee in another room. So, and then some people are just 100% comfortable with some things. I try to keep that sacred and keep that under wraps.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of sex appeal that can go down the toilet with it. Maybe, I don't know. My boyfriend is the way he grew up in Mexico. It does not seem he thinks to care. And I will not let him hear it. As far as I'm concerned, I don't poop, I don't fart. But some girls
play like music when you have to go?
Huh?
Do you like play music when you have to go so he can't hear?
No, I turn on okay, so let me lay it down like this. Okay. I turn on the bathtub because that's the loudest noise I can get in there.
That's smart.
Yeah, so I turn on the bathtub. But even if I didn't have the bathtub on, like, I don't think, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Guys at home, girl bathrooms are the nastiest place you will ever find yourself, especially in a bar. And they rip, girls like will rip stuff. But for the most part, I think girls are either really loud or there's just nothing there. And I am not the person that is like loud and like I don't. So me saying that, like, I'm just like really embarrassed of him if he were like to ever find out. But he does not seem to care.
I was one of those girls like in a public bathroom. I would wait until somebody left because I didn't want to like do it while they were there.
He's on a total opposite spectrum.
I'm totally weird about it.
Huh?
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Like with my partner, like I don't care. Like we're so comfortable. But in a public bathroom, like I cannot go if I'm in. I don't know what it is. I just can't, like, to know that there's other people in there and some people are talking in there, having a conversation, and then you're gonna hear me like birth a child. Like I'm good. I'm good.
But girl, if you ever find yourself on a road trip, walk into a girl's bathroom, like in the middle of the interstate, like butt fucking where those are the nastiest.
Dude,
I don't know.
I just was using a public restroom like yesterday, I think. And I could hear, like, as soon as I sat down, the other girl in the stall was like, I'm like,
oh my God.
Did not make it home?
How are guys just complete opposite? I mean, I don't know if guys are like one or the other two.
They
but like,
immediately sit down.
David, are you really loud in the bathroom? Like, do you like blow it? Like, do you destroy toilets?
Well, I like to be like semi-loud just so I can like let people know the fruits of my labor and my work. So I like to scream and like have like an announcer like ba 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 ba. Guess what, fiance? I took a giant shit and like just like announce it. Like get wild about it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm lagging again. Here.
Do you take pictures and send them to your friends?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I go like this.
Yes,
that's so
cool. Please.
Just to make an announcement to everybody, sisters, family members, mom, fiance, everybody. Everybody is going to know the size, color of everything when a legend checks.
It's like snap landmines. My brother will randomly send me a poop snap, and I never know when it's a poop snap. I hate it. It's so gross. Like,
it's
you guys
awesome.
congratulate each other?
You feel proud of it, right? Like you want to show the world how proud of it you are. You're like, damn, this is where it's at.
You're right. And if I can invite every male on the planet to look at my work of art, my masterpiece, I would invite every single male, and just kind of marvel at it. You know what I'm saying?
Do you ever like give each other advice like, hey, it looks like you need to hydrate more, or like you definitely eating too many fatty foods?
Oh no, that's gay. No, I'm just kidding.
No?
I'm just kidding.
I love
You
it.
guys are the best. All right.
Yeah, so this
Subject.
is sorry. Yeah, this is a Strange Pie, by the way. Welcome. We're no longer on MMA and bare knuckle or anything. You are found yourself in another dimension. So, well, Alli, you wanted to. What made you bring up? Okay, so Alli wanted to speak about.
It's a Sambo subject, and she didn't get to be here.
I know. Okay, so we don't have to go maybe too deep on Sambos. I thought you were.
Well, actually, did you try to research on it? Because like I was surprised on how broad or vast there really wasn't on the subject, because it's just kind of cut and dry. I try to look up different things like, do animals see spirits? Do animals become spirits? The mythology with like cats and like the underworld, and there's very little on all of those. So it's one of those, like, I was expecting we could definitely rabbit trail off it a lot more, but a lot of it's based on opinion. Like, do cats see ghosts? Or is it that their sensitive eyes are picking up on dust floating around in the air and they're actually disgusted with the room? Or are they freaking out because they see a spirit? And depending on how you feel about spirits, it could be either one. And there's a lady I was reading about. She was trying to extensively study this, but she was reaching out to like animal trainers and people that specialize in animals, and none of them would respond to her on their opinions on it. The only thing I could find is the spiritual aspect of it on people that believe in spirits and ghosts, and they all believe that your animals do see spirits, that they are high and tuned into a sixth sense, and that they can recept on that because they can pick up weather changes, they can pick up when somebody has cancer or something is going on inside their body. So they feel like, why would they not be able to see spirits? There's been a lot of documentation that cats know when people are going to die. They just like go up to people. There's a scent that they think that they pick up.
I believe that. My grandfather on his deathbed had this cat, and the cat was, you know, cats, they have their humans, so they're really like protective of like typically one person. And when my grandfather died, the cat vanished. Like no one knew what happened to this cat. Like the cat just like left. Like they know. I feel like they know. They've got like this clairvoyant intuition going on.
And then there's also theories that cats are people that have passed on, that they become a cat while they're waiting for their next cycle to happen.
I don't know if I would like that. By the way people treat animals. I don't know.
Like some.
Are you talking about Turkey? Isn't it?
I know.
Turkey
That's why I feel bad, because like.
You assholes that abuse animals.
Being an animal can go one or two ways.
Yeah. I do believe all of that. I don't know if but maybe. So imagine like, do you guys both have pets? Yeah.
I do not.
Argument with like someone, like they tend to like get a like little upset or nervous, or at least my dog like knows if I'm in an argument. He doesn't have to speak English. He knows I don't have to raise my voice, but there's just like I think a different type of energy. Maybe they can also read. So who knows if they can see, you know, ghosts, if they can see maybe just the energy levels, and we are still energy after we pass, I do believe. And here he is right here. He really wants out of this room.
Aww.
He's the coolest little pup you'll ever meet. Hi, Bob. This is Benny's buddy. He's my baby.
I love how you found that Pet Cemetery poster for your background.
Yes.
I'm in one of my niece's bedrooms, so I told you guys had to be a little bit remote, so I found some Pet Cemetery for you, Al.
That was
so
perfect.
I believe all that, but I did have a friend whose sister-in-law. Oh my goodness, he just shaked everything. Whose sister-in-law. That's so weird. My background kind of changed a little bit on this right over here. My sister-in-law worked for. And they had one of the cats that would spend its time, most of the time, with the one that would pass the next. And they also had lots of, like, she described seeing her ghost as shadows. Like, you wouldn't just look and see something, but you would see a shadow at the corner of your eye, and that was what she thought was a ghost. But there was a cat, and every person the cat spent time with is the one that would end up passing. So who knows if they see something, if they know it's going to happen, or maybe just, like, your energy levels, like, deplete or, like, grow, or I don't know.
Have you ever had an animal that you feel like excessively watched you? Like, in the bathroom or like while you got dressed, to where it's almost like, were you a person? Like, why is an animal so interested in seeing people undressed?
Yeah. Well, that's what was my cat, Layla. I told you. So this is like one of the reasons like we ended up talking about this or wanted to talk about it was that I had a cat of, I think she was 6 years old. She was a black cat. She gravitated towards me at the Humane Society, and I like chose her. I loved her. She was the best cat ever. There's something different about her. Green eyes, most beautiful, sweet little thing ever. The most precious purr. And I had a pit bull who I also rescued, and he ended up killing her 5 years later. I came home to it. I mean, I went to a children's museum with my nephews and nieces, and I came home, and my niece was like, Auntie, what's wrong with Layla? And I'm like, what do you mean what's wrong with Layla? And I touched her, and she was rock hard. Like, she had already been dead for like probably a couple hours at least. And I think he bit her in the stomach and she died internally. So it was really tragic, totally unexpected, only 6 years old. And I had two other cats too, two other rescue cats that I still have today. They're now 16 years old. So this is a really long time ago. And after that, because she would always like zoom up and down the hallways, and she had this very distinct like purr, like is how she would purr, and it was the cutest thing. But Ava would constantly, one of my other cats, would constantly call to her, and sometimes I would swear like they were playing with something in the hallway. And at night time, I swear that apartment that I lived in was a really old 1800s apartment. I swear it was slightly haunted or had some kind of thing going on with it. But sometimes I would still think like I would see like a shadow like up and down the hallway, and that's what I wanted to tell you about. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe something tragic like that. And I've seen it on Unexplained, Caught on Camera, I think Paranormal on Discovery Plus. And they show you lots of animals, slightly like a shadow figure, show up on videos. So I like to believe it was her, but yeah. So I think that.
Well, there's people that believe that they're interacting with ghosts, or they're interacting with demons or angels, that they're seeing those kind of type entities. I did see some back and forth on the beliefs with like that they're the guardians of like the like hell and the underworld, and then others say like no, they're not like in control of it, but like they're the narcs. Like if they see a spirit out amongst the living, they go tell, and then that spirit gets sent back. And it's just kind of like, so like in the movie The Mummy, when he like holds up the cat and the mummy like freaks out and runs away, it's essentially that cat was like, I'm gonna go tell on you. Like, you're out.
So I want to believe that, but then I'm like, do dogs? Does any other animal, like, is it just this one animal that sees stuff?
Yeah, why is it just cat?
Yeah.
Dogs do things. I think, haven't you ever seen your dog stare in a corner before? Like my friends had her dogs like literally just like stare in a corner, and she was convinced her house was like haunted for years. I mean, for years, like there's people that wouldn't stay there, but the dogs would like sit in the corner and just look randomly like at, I don't know. She thought it was a shadow, or they called it the ghost. They don't know who it was. Weird stuff happens.
One thing, like working with animals, one thing I learned is that it's such a barrier when you can't communicate with something, because there's so many theories you can come up with for animal behavior, but we don't know 100% like how they think. So yeah, they could be staring at a spirit that is in the room, or they could just be spacing the fuck off. And it just looks like they're just intently looking at something.
There's I want to look up the name of it. It's Racing in the Rain, I think it is. If anyone likes a good animal movie, do you know what this is?
It's a great film. Great film.
I have to warn people, it's an amazing film, and you will cry. If you ever need to cry, just make sure you're watching the scene in private and you have a box of tissues, because it's a movie about a.
How would you compare it to My Sister's Keeper?
Yes, but like, I don't know, like it's even more. I don't know. I've seen that movie too. But maybe it's because I have Benicio here and I was watching it with my dog. But I think when you really deserve it, I can't remember what the actual reasoning was, but when you really deserve it, like the dogs end up graduating to almost like becoming a human. And so it goes through the life of this dog and his owner, and this dog only wants to become human. Like he knows that's when he dies. Like if he does it good enough, he's a great dog. Like he will get his angel wings and become a human. So if anyone wants to believe in stuff like that,
That's
where they do reincarnate into something else, it's a great movie to watch, especially if you've lost an animal. So I do like to believe all that. And you talked about earlier too, Alli, about like how they kind of cats can tell like when people are dying. We talked about that for a second. Has anyone, I don't know if anyone at home has thought, like if you guys have cats, but I don't like it when my cats spend a lot of time like right next to me when I'm sleeping. So I'm just like, am I sick? Do you smell cancer? Like when they smell like one certain part of your body, I'm just like, I always think like, know something that
maybe they're protecting you.
Maybe. I do believe though. I mean, they
I've had a cat that would like. I had a cat one time like that. It knew when I woke up. So if I woke up late, like it would sit on my chest and it would just bite my face until I woke up. It's just like, I don't know if it just didn't want me to be late or like it just was bored and needed someone to interact with. And it was like, this is the time you're supposed to be up. And so, but maybe he was watching me. Maybe he was making sure demons didn't come, at me while I was sleeping.
And speaking of also, like we have brought up the reincarnation slightly with that movie. I also had another animal before I got Layla, my cat that died. I had a bunny rabbit who had very distinct it was white, mostly white, a lot of gray, a little bit of brown markings on her. And she had a very distinct personality. And she ended up passing away when I first moved down to St. Louis. And then within a year and a half, I got two of my other rescue cats, Ava and Tala. And one of my rescue cats, Ava, she has the same personality as Ava or as my bunny. Like, I don't know, very stubborn, very food driven, and she has exact same markings as my bunny, who I lost to, she had a massive, tumor in her belly, and she's best friend with my Rottweiler. It was a last minute deal, with her passing too, but I swear to God, it's her reincarnation, from a bunny rabbit to a kitty. I'm maybe she's just some of my animals really resemble my previous animals, and I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't know if you've ever experienced or heard of that too. But they look
I was just gonna say, I remember as a kid there was a movie I seen. I don't think it was very big, but the dad dies in a car accident, and then they get a puppy later, and it's the dad. He's reincarnated as the puppy, and he grows up with the family and protects them and stuff.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
But that's something.
I don't know if Janine heard of this movie. Because you saw the other movie. I wonder if you know this movie. I know what you're talking about, Alli. I don't remember.
Which movie?
I think it's called Fluke.
The dog, the dad reincarnates as a dog. What is it? What'd you call it?
I think it's called Fluke.
Fluke?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fluke movie. I don't remember it being that name. I remember that.
You know what's weird about reincarnation is my dad died in 2011, but my dog I got in 2015, and everyone says they look into my dog's eyes and they see my father. They're like, I swear that's
Really?
Andy. So yeah, it's so
weird.
it's so strange. And sometimes I'll look at my dog and be like, oh my God, the way this dog loves me is I'm like, is this my dad in another form? It's so
You
weird.
should test it with his favorite foods and see if the dog reacts.
Good point.
Quiz it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Same color, or is it just the stare that it gives you?
The eyes, the deep brown, big brown eyes. It's so bizarre. And this dog, it's the first dog I ever had, and she is the love of my life. I'm obsessed with my animals. I have my 20-pound cat and my two dogs, and he's huge. My cat. He was on
cat.
Yeah, it was on the last show. He was going in and off camera. I don't know if you could see. He's huge. He's laying in his bed right now. But yeah, he's huge. He's bigger than both the dogs. But I love my animals so much. I would do anything. I don't have kids, so they're like my children, and I love them more than life. They're
But
the
you
best.
have to. If you're a pet owner, that's how you should be.
For sure.
Like I
For
hate people that have a dog and they keep it outside and it's for protection
Or it
and
can't go
like the
out.
the animal's an accessory.
Yeah. That's why my last dog that died, she was 13, thank God, because she was a big dog. She's a big Labrador. And I thought that was awesome that she lived to 13. And that's when I got Benicio. And I wanted to make sure that this is the type of dog that I could breed everywhere I go. And he could get along with everything. And he's never going to have a night at home, like in a cage, like, because I just felt so bad. Like, because I mean, I don't have kids. Like, this is my child. And I just want, I can't just imagine, like, I don't know. It just felt good to like be able to have a dog that like, okay, I'm just going to live the best life it possibly could be, which I think how it should be. Damn it. I think all the stores should allow all animals, TJ Maxx and Ross and Marshall's, not a sponsor, but thank God you can like breed animals there, but they deserve to go.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
He goes,
cool.
he loves it.
Well, if you get him registered as a service dog, you can take him pretty much anywhere.
Well, people don't want to ask because they don't want to be insensitive and get me mad or anything.
Just give him a harness that says service dog and be like, stop.
I'm just gonna look at that.
Okay.
Like,
I actually did a couple of years back, I had a radio show and I did an entire live radio show on how I wanted to like stab this woman because she made a complaint against me because I brought my dog into a bowling alley. And I wasn't bowling with the dog. I was in like the restaurant part of the bowling alley and I wasn't bowling. I was just like, there was like these couches or whatever. And like, I'm a firm believer that you should be able to take your dog anywhere. Like I think dogs are better than humans. So I want my dog to go everywhere. And this lady like started in on me and was like complaining. And I was like, this was in the middle of COVID. And I'm like, lady, you're at a bowling alley. Like, do you, like you're wearing shoes that have never been like properly sanitized. And like,
fingers.
Yeah, and your fingers like in the ball, and like you're worried about my hypoallergenic Shih Tzu. Like, like I literally off. Like I was like, lady, come out. Like I started some shit in this bowling alley.
Yeah, I would too. Good for you.
Yeah.
Some people don't. I don't think some people are just animal likers. It kills me that some people like, oh, I don't like dogs, I don't like cats. Like,
I never trust those people. I'm like, if you don't like animals, we can't be friends. Like I'm so like outspoken on that. I'm like, animals are the best thing they're like God's little angels that they give to people. Like, how can you not like animals, you know?
Yeah. I hope at anyone
Now,
else.
do you believe?
Go ahead.
Do any of you believe that animals go to an after? Like they have a soul? Do you think they have like a different soul than we do? And like when you die, however you treated animals, you're gonna be greeted by them, and that could like factor in what happens. Which is scary for me because I worked with a lot of animals, but in my job, part of animal care is euthanasia.
Yeah, no.
So I could have some bad karma.
No, I wouldn't look at it that way. I think it's your intent too, Al. I know. I think.
And that's one thing. I was very conscious that I was their last human interaction. So I always tried to make a point to like give them some pets and some like ear rubs before I had to go do that. So at least they went out with some like good endorphins. So I'd like to think if that is a thing, if I were to see the animals that I worked with, that they would not be mad at me.
Well, it's good that at least someone speaking with experience on euthanasia, because I think a lot of people want to feel comfortable and good. That, I mean, it's hard to cry and to lose something like that in front of someone, and that's such an intimate experience. I mean, I lose it like when that happens. Like, so for someone to be like there and probably like, it's like every day, versus someone who's like, yeah, I totally understand like what you're going through, and this is hard for me as well. Like, that's a good thing to have that kind of input. I'm sorry, I'm really lagged right now, guys. I don't know if at my end, I'm really lagged. I can't, I know I'm frozen. But I just want to warn you real quick. You and Janine, Alli and Janine.
I can hear you perfectly. It's just a visual.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but my computer says it has about 7 minutes left. I'm in a remote location, so I might cut out abruptly. So I'm going to go as long as I can. I don't have my actual computer charger with me. I need to get a new computer. But I thought it was good to go. But apparently, the light I have is draining my computer fast.
You can use your phone. Come back.
It won't work. I could do that. I have my phone.
You could do that.
You're gonna see a really nasty green screen. So yeah, if I cut out, you're gonna have to let me jump back on. But I don't know if I should wait maybe and jump back on later, and then we can talk about the cat mummy. The cat mummy, David had brought it up a couple times. The picture I shared. It's nothing really specific, but it's just a weird little thing I saw in Milwaukee. And David, I don't know if you can post the cat.
I don't see the cat. Where's the cat?
The cat. The gato. El gato.
Is it the cat?
Everyone lagged, or is it just me still?
It's just you.
And my dog is like mad over here at me, very mad.
Really? You used to keep him in a closet with you.
Yeah, but he's...
All right. So
okay, maybe I'll come in.
Your lips moving.
Yeah. Let me. I mean, I have an awesome picture on my end. It's just frozen. You guys are both frozen on my end. Let me leave the studio and try and come back in for just a couple minutes. Okay, I'll be right back.
Cool in the gang.
All right.
So we're talking about pets, pooping. We touched upon a lot of
we're kind of like bouncing around between pets having a soul. Can they see ghosts? Can they become ghosts? Are they ghosts? And then I was seeing some things that were just like some mixed opinions, like cats are evil. And a lot of people said it's just because they're visual. They have the eyes. They just seem kind of sinister, just appearance wise. So people gave them a bad rap. But in like Egypt, if you were to kill a cat, you would get the death penalty because they did believe that since cats killed rodents and other pests, that they kept away bad spirits as well, and that they were an asset to have around. So if you got rid of one, you just like doomed everybody.
I'm a cat owner like Janine. Janine, what do you think about that?
I'm obsessed with my animals, and I always tell people that know me and that know because I'm my Instagram and my Facebook is all about my animals. So if I ever were to become arrested, it would be because I saw someone abusing an animal or someone, God forbid, hurt my animals. I would be on the news. I have no children. So for me, they're my babies. I try to give them the best life ever. I love all of them. I'm an animal fanatic. And so if you're going to have an animal, you need to treat it like they're your child because they deserve that. They deserve that. They can't pick up the phone and be like, hey, I'm not being treated properly. Like they can't do that. Like you need an advocate. You need people that love animals to own them and take care of them, I think.
I think people are either born cat people or dog people or both, but like getting used to cats, like for instance, my chubby fat cat, I love her to death. Like like she's very skittish. Like she comes from abandonment. She comes from neglect. So, she overeats because psychologically the cat doesn't know when her next meal will come. So even from a little kitten, she comes from that type of atmosphere. So when I first got her, she was standoffish to everybody except me. Like even at the vet, I have scratches down my arms and everything like that because she didn't want anybody to touch her. Like nobody touched her but me. So I had to actually grab her to feel security. And I think it's up to I guess people. I think my cat's perfectly fine, but it's just personal preference. Against I don't think cats are evil. I prefer cats over dogs. So I don't know, that's my take on it.
I flip flop. I'd say I'm both. I used to be primarily a cat person. I didn't really like dogs, but I've met some good dogs, and I switched over a little bit.
Yeah, I had cats my entire life, and my chubby cat, like I spoil her to death, and she's perfectly happy and healthy, and like I've always preferred cats over dogs. And Karen is gonna disagree because she has a dog, and
I've been back and forth. I was dogs,
but they do say cat people are not controlling.
No, not at all.
I don't think so because they have to do everything the cat
Because
wants.
a cat doesn't have to love you.
No, and you know what? Like my cat's spoiled. Like I have 2 litter boxes. I have 3 beds for her because she has like a personal preference. Sometimes she likes to switch beds, and sometimes she just likes to sleep with me. And like most of the time, she likes to sleep with me. But 3 bowls of food out, like the gourmet shit. Like Janine, you know what I'm talking about? Buying the expensive gourmet shit for her.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
also
yeah.
a snack bowl. So she has 3 bowls and snacks for a snack because my cat is a snack.
I love that. That like warms my heart, That warms my heart.
Yep. Fair enough. So I'm gonna let you guys.
I ruined the magic of my green screen. I'm now on my cell phone.
The secrets are revealed.
The what?
So the secrets are revealed. Now they know.
You're talking about my speakers. I don't know if I sound different or
secret.
My light's gonna go out too in a second, so it's gonna get really dark on my end. But I was talking about, so I don't know if David, you can pop up the cat mummy though.
Sure. Hold on.
So this is, I went to with one of my best friends, Wyatt. He's awesome. We've been to all sorts of places. And he took me to a place in Milwaukee. Sorry, I had to take off my light real quick to try to charge this. And in Milwaukee is a bar, and above the bar is this cat. It's a dead cat. It's a real cat. His name is Anubis. And if I'm correct, I'm really sorry, guys. I had to brush up on my history of it real quick. But they don't. The legend of it is kind of like shrouded in mystery, is where this cat came from. But it's like their mascot for the news press in Milwaukee and for this bar. And apparently they said it could possibly have come from like, I don't know if it's 1800s or 1900s fire. For some reason, it was a mummified cat. And they have, just like the Egyptians, have glorified this cat. So if you're anywhere in Milwaukee area, please go to this bar. It is really creepy. I didn't have to go real, and I do not know why they do it. But it was just like we just happened to be talking about dead animals. I just remember this one distinct bar I walked into, and this was a cat above the bar. Really weird. I thought it was a little morbid, but it was one of those odd.
You're definitely going to remember that bar.
I know. It's like, I don't know why they had it there, but yeah. But why would you take a dead cat out of the alleyway that was burned alive and then throw it above your bar as the mascot? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, not like the Egyptians, but.
And I love Milwaukee. What bar was it?
That's what I'm trying to remember. I don't want to. I don't know if I could do this on my phone.
Oh, I check it out.
Am I back on? Okay, I'm back on. Mm-hmm. Could you hear me when I went away for a second?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Or no? Bear with me.
I didn't hear you for a little bit, but I got your story.
I can look at it on my phone. This is called The Sacred Cat.
I think she froze.
Oh, she froze. I'm going to look at this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Google it. It's called, The Sacred Cat? The Sacred
Cat. Okay, sorry.
There we go.
It's because of my phone. It's called the mascot of Milwaukee Newspaper Dome. I don't have the name of the bar. I don't know if you guys can Google it. But every time I look away, it takes me offline. But his name is Anubis. If you look up Anubis, the mummy cat of Milwaukee, you will find the name of the bar. I highly recommend the bar. It was karaoke night when I went in there. They're the coolest people probably ever met just outside of town. There's also an awesome Fonzie statue in Milwaukee. So Milwaukee is a cool little place to hang out, but it has one of these weird bars. I like these weird bars. I've been to a couple odd and end places like that. Another one actually in Tucson in Arizona.
Fonzie from Milwaukee?
Huh?
Is Fonzie from the actor?
I think he is.
Henry Winkler?
He has a statue in Milwaukee.
It's the
I feel like there's more famous people from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
It's the Newsroom Pub. That's
why?
the name.
There you go. That makes sense. And we just happened to stroll into this pub. I don't know why, but it's just really welcoming. Lots of odd people. People were karaokeing. It's just like it was a stormy, rainy night, and then there's just a dead cat above the bar, and I just thought it was really intriguing to be in places like that. So, but or why again someone would take a dead cat and shrine it like that, but very interesting. Milwaukee has some interesting little places, including
yeah, like can you imagine if you met somebody and like after like just your initial conversation, like, hey, do you want to see my mummified dead burned cat that I found? I like to show people. Like
that sounds like me.
You
though.
probably not continue the conversation with that person.
You make me feel weird. I have dead bones.
No, like a bar does it. It's cool. But like the whole, if like someone were just walk up to you and be like, "Yeah, this cat got burned a long time ago. I found his body and I just kept it."
Yeah, he's our god now. We named him Anubis.
What if like doing something like that cursed the bar? Because like the cat never got to like rest in peace and be buried.
That. And why was it just? How did it get mummified like that though? I mean, you don't get burned in a fire and come out looking like that. Maybe that
someone killed that cat. Someone killed the cat.
A whole other story.
And they're trying to cover up the story.
I have a dead horse skull in my. I have a Texas Longhorn in my loft. I have a collection of animal bones because I used to collect animal bones as a child. I don't know why. I was weird. And then I also have a.
It was a rare find.
Yeah, it was like I actually still have not yet figured out what it was. My best guess was a turtle, but I could never figure out what this animal was. I could probably bring it somewhere. But I have also a horse skull. It's a wild horse skull in my apartment. I bought it off a friend, and I live in Missouri. And there's wild horses in Missouri. I don't know if anyone knows that. Coolest thing. I was actually really high one time at Schwagstock, and I got lost in the woods, and I came across wild horses, and I tried like feeding them like sweet tarts. And I thought, like, this is like how I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get kicked in the face because I'm high as hell, like trying to feed wild horses sweet tarts. But my friend had a dead horse skull from one of the wild horses in Missouri, and it's still in my apartment, and I love it. But it makes me always kind of creeped out. Like, do I have like some animal like trapped in my apartment? I always thought that was kind of weird. So I have a lot of old stuff. I always think I'm gonna bring like bad juju in with it, and it looks like we've lost Alli as well. It's just me and you, Janine.
Yay, I'm here.
Sorry, we're all over the place, Janine.
No, it's totally good. My internet's actually working right now, but if it wasn't, like, you'd know it because I'd be all over too. It just depends on the day. Depends on the day.
We're on a low-budget studio.
Yeah, at least me and Alli are. Janine's got it right. Look at her background.
Well, this is my banner, and then I have a green screen in the back behind the banner because otherwise you'd see my apartment. So I had to do the green screen. Otherwise, it just shows my banner and then my apartment. But this is my banner, and then I just had a picture.
Oh, okay.
So technically, it's green screen behind it, but I live in like 700 square feet. My apartment is like super small. And so like all of my podcast equipment is like my entire apartment.
Yeah.
Like, so when people come over, they're like, whoa. And I'm like, just be careful where you walk. like you're going to be stepping on everything.
And my nieces are watching right now, and they're just like, oh, this is what it looks like. And I was showing them like different backgrounds and such like that. I'm like, yeah, everything you see is fake. It's not real. Like, don't believe what you see on the internet.
Yep. Green screens are amazing. The things you can do with the green screen. I love it. Mine's just so big. Like I really wish I could get one of those retractable green screens that you can put on the ceiling. Have you seen those? They are badass.
So,
on Amazon.
My white trash version of that was at my last place. I took like a really big like curtain rod, and then I took a shower curtain. So then I could pull the shower curtain over it when I didn't want it to just be a big green screen on the wall.
That's super smart, and I don't know why I didn't think about that, to be honest with you.
That's an option too, if you don't want to afford the slide one.
That is so smart.
Well,
that's so smart.
I don't know if
you gotta make sure that the rod is like really long, because like you'll see the curtain otherwise.
God, that's smart.
Did somebody say the rod is really long? That's what she said. Oh, God.
We're trying to figure out ways to like rig our green screens to like make them more user friendly. And a curtain rod sounds great because I've got it on. It's like mounted up and like has like these clamps on it, but it would be so much easier on an actual like curtain rod, actually. So I will experiment with that.
You never know what you're going to learn on our show.
Yeah.
Never.
Sorry. We're still trying to figure out what the hell we're doing. So far, we've talked about a lot
small
of
aspects and big ones.
Poops and big rods and dead animals in a barn.
Fuck yeah. So we're heading towards that hour. So you guys want to wrap it up like a Christmas present?
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, I don't know if you guys are going to be broadcasting next weekend. If you guys still had it planned, I will not be here on next Sunday. So I will join you guys afterwards. I don't know if Janine or Allie want to run it, and David, you want to jump on in, or we're just taking the weekend off. That's up to you guys, but please stay tuned for that. Allie, Janine.
What do you guys think?
We might discuss something. We might be able to throw something together if you guys are game.
Yeah. I'm down with the clown trolley, Brian.
For sure. For sure. I'm down with it.
You're cool with doing double duty? Because obviously you have your show debuting and then working with the show.
Yeah, I'm good with double duty.
Nice.
The more you do, the better. So, final words from the host. All ass in. What do you guys say? What do you got for us?
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to our nonsense, and thank you for being tolerant for our equipment errors. Next time we'll have a whole different subject. We're going to start doing some challenges too. Tune in, I believe the 24th. All the Iowa fans, Raheem, the Boogeyman Cleveland is going to be on. I'm really excited about that because I actually got to see him fight, and he drops guys, and he's going to Bellator, and I can guarantee you guys are going to see him on the UFC anytime soon. So that's all I got right now. Take it over.
Karen, final statements, final word.
All right. Thank you guys for being here and dealing with us as we figure this whole deal out. Keeping it strange every Sunday night. Like I said, we just want to talk about things that you think about at 3 a.m. or just odd things and ramble off. And hopefully we'll get some fighters on here too to branch off from the other podcasts into here, and we can hear some of their weird stories and not just how they cut weight.
Cool in the gang. And we found out that girls poop, which I really appreciate you ladies
No,
for
we
answering.
don't, David.
We don't talk about it.
All right, Janine, final thoughts, final words from the new hosts in Fight Mixer.
I'm super stoked to be a part of your team and to have been co-hosting with you guys tonight. And I look forward to the future. And it's exciting. It's super cool. So thank you for having me on.
Yeah, we all have awesome opportunities here. So
it's been great having you on.
Thanks, ladies.
So final words, ladies. Wrap it up, and then we'll
keep it weird.
Be good to your pets.
Yeah, be good. They can haunt your ass.
Yeah.
All right, ladies.
Or they'll let that demon touch you when you sleep.
Have a good night from Strange Pie, and we'll see you next week. Peace.